Hey everybody, and welcome to another explosive edition of Knightcast. I am your host, Anime Knight 1992, and joining me, he's a bigger conquistador than I can be, and he does own all the Rosario 2 vampire manga, the biggest collection I have ever seen in my entire life. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, a good friend of mine, Silent Joker. How you
Hey,
doing,
what's going
buddy?
on, Brody? And no, he's not exaggerating. The moment he brought that, I'm like, well, I just got to. Well, this is
You
just the
can't
box that it's in.
you cannot lie with that fact right there. You cannot lie. I dare anybody to challenge that. I dare anybody out there to challenge that box set right there. Look at that box set. That takes up two shelves, ladies and gentlemen. That takes up two shelves. If
Thankfully,
you
it's just
were
on
to
the floor right now in the closet,
if
so
if
that's
if you were to
it's fine.
compare it right now to everything. So, Joker, what should we get into first? What do you want to get into first? Because there's a lot to
Well,
talk about.
we're past the 45-second mark, so I think it is. Let's do the big anime update. I think we just need to close this big. One of the darkest hours in anime history right now. I think it's very much important to talk about and still bring up the fact that God, I can't.
Ladies and gentlemen, what he is referring to, this was brought to my attention about 25 minutes ago, so I had to scramble and get make sure we get this information out. So apparently, the Kyoto animation arson that happened uh, about 4 years ago, if memory serves me right. I'm getting old,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen. uh, so
yeah,
about
4 years
4 years.
ago, like
Oh, 2019, my bad. So in
2019. So
2019, 2019, we were gonna have a very solid year in 2019 with anime and everything. Kyoto Animation on the rise yet again with another coming with an anime coming out and everything. All the mangaka artists are ready to go. And what happens? Somebody threw somebody tried
to
setting.
be careful to say that this is Japan's probably the second biggest threat to them since World War II. You got to put that into point of view. Since World War II,
Yes, since World War II, we witnessed a very, very disastrous thing, one that we never condone here, ladies and gentlemen, nor
or
should,
even or should we say
or
that we're shocked by it?
and
Like
we're all
when
very
I saw
shocked
the
by
news
it.
of this, I think I was just at home when this news was breaking out, and I remember thinking to myself, "This is an April Fool's joke. Someone's joking." No, it was not an April Fool's joke. It was horrific. That's the thing. It was
Give me a
horrific.
second. Give me a second here, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry
Yep.
about that. Yeah, it
There
was
we go.
horrific. Very much horrific. I was at a loss for words. I didn't think this would even be possible, but I don't want to talk about the backstory of the guy because he does not deserve any attention other than justice is finally going to be served and that this was a shock to everybody. Like when you think about your favorite shows or product that's being made, you don't think about the people behind it. Some of us do, some don't, but when so many talented people work for Kyoto, probably one of the nicest people out there, and probably one of the better animation studios to work for how they respect their employees, they pay them correctly, they're not overworking on dozens of animes at a season. They normally make one anime like per year or something like that because they're always working on other stuff or helping out mangakas through their uh, finding mangas who are struggling or want to pitch something. They have that little contest that goes on, but the whole world that day just stopped and we united.
Yes, indeed. This was because it's something that you never think about because it's like, who in their right mind would do this? Now look, we may have our issues here and there with all these corporations and everything, but we would never ever go and do this because we could rag on them all day, all night, and that'd be the end of it. We could trash their reputation all we want, make memes about them, but we would never do anything to this caliber. Never, under any circumstances. I don't care how angry you get at a corporation, this should never be an option, nor should be ever considered, condoned, or endorsed. None of that garbage. And
Like,
we here at the Nightstand, here we here at the Nightcast, give our profound condolences to everybody that was affected on this terrible tragedy in 2019, and about time that this person got what he had coming to him. And I say the crime fits. I say the sentence fits the crime and everything, and rightfully so. Because remember, I mean, the numbers are staggering because 36 people are no longer with us, and 32 others are wounded in this attack in 2019. That is a
all of them are
scary
finally
that's
recovered,
a scary
hopefully, but
that is a
it
scary
is a scary
margin.
thing. Could have been
That's a
more, but
that's a scary margin at how close that is.
it's
It's scary.
it could have been even worse. But it's still that
ADB
number
Clark,
is still too high.
Kelly.
Like I remember like people from Disney and Pixar, you name it, from the West, from the Western animation, they were just coming out and praying for Kyoto, and they made my favorite show of all time and book, Violet Evergarden, and God, that's an amazing show. I remember even just seeing all the wonderful things that were said about Kyoto and everybody just breaking down, just trying to get it all out of this can't happen, and yet it did happen. I remember seeing I still remember the photos that were going around the following day. I'm like, oh, that was the event. I'm like, oh my god, I just couldn't say anything other than just they have recovered, but at the same time, it's still there. And you also have to remember there was another show around this time that was airing, an anime called Fire Force, and they did have to censor the ending because the ending is a great ending for season one. But if you knew the context of the manga, what happened at the chapel, what Iris saw with the other Hibana and everybody else, yeah, that was the probably the best call for David Production to censor the ending because
And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen,
they're just going
we're
through tragedy.
yeah, and yeah, with that. Normally, Joker, myself, and many others, we're against censorship in any
But
form.
this is the
But
right
but
call.
but
This was the right call.
but it's censorship done right and with a reason behind it, and I can honestly get behind it and come to an understanding. Like, okay, I understand that. It's an understanding level, and it's censorship done in a correct and respectful manner rather than so blatant with no context to it. And this is the right call. I do agree with the studio on this one and everything when that happened. And
It
but
wasn't
with
just
everything,
also the ending that was censored. It was also the opening because they couldn't say the final thing because, like, again, tragedy, and it's like, yeah, smart call.
um also, what's up, Sarah Out Loud George? What's up, everybody in chat? Hope you're doing good tonight on this wonderful
But
Wednesday evening. Beautiful
but
Wednesday.
this, I think, I'd say my final thoughts. Justice is served. Those souls can finally rest in peace. And you have to remember, even after this horrific event, even Japan's gotten. They even became more tight on everything, what you can or cannot buy. I'm like, that's a great call, a smart move. But man, this never let it happen again. Never let it happen again. I can't go through something like that again.
Hmm.
Like,
Because be- because because I myself, when I first heard this news, I was literally reading the newspaper, and one of my friends, avid anime fan at the time, he told me, "Yo, a studio's up in flames. There was an attack on a manga anime company." I'm like, what? What kind of idiot would do that? At first, I had the same reaction as you did, Joker, when I first heard about it, because it's like, what? No. And then the individual showed me, and I'm like, oh, I was not happy that day. That really soured my day. It it put me in a bad mood, and rightfully so. I was not happy, and seeing the photos and everything, and it being official, I'm like, oh crap. Crazy time crazy time that was, ladies and gentlemen. And oh, yes, happy Chinese Lunar New Year to you, Sarah George. Um, but we hope the people at Kyoto Animation are recovered, and that those who have long since passed, the widows, the families, and everything are relieved at this news, because this is justice definitely served, and it's the right sentence for a crime of this magnitude, and I'm happy for it. But like we said, though, we don't give this person the time of day, nothing,
we're not going to
because
mention the name, not the time of day. No, they they don't deserve it.
we're breaking the news of the Kyoto Animation, the verdict and the sentencing has been finalized, and it's gonna go through. And apparently this individual has withdrawn his own appeal against this. So that's like, because everybody knows, when you're up against something like this, the odds are not in your favor, and it would just to be best to accept it. But that's all we're gonna say about this individual. But again, we hope Kyoto Animation um, thrives again after all this, and um, we would love to see more content come from these people. Big supporters over here of these wonderful people. Thank you for Fire Force, by the way. Um,
David Production, thank you for Fire Force David Production.
um,
Oh, speaking.
real quick, just to break it all down. There was an arson attack in 2019 against Kyoto Animation for we don't even know the reason.
The,
I don't think we'll ever
well,
know.
I do know the reasoning. I'm just again, like I keep saying, I'm not giving that scumbag the time and day. There are videos out there about this. If you want to look them up, go look them up. But once you find out why it happened, it makes
It
you
would be
more
best.
suspected.
It would be best, because we're not going to give this scumbag
All right, but
any.
we got to move on for this.
Yes.
Are there any other anime news out there that we should know about? Maybe something a little more positive, or otherwise we have
Let's
more.
see. We have oh darn, I just saw it. Uh
Probably type in the keywords a little bit because you could probably find it that way.
Actually, we could end this anime news.
All right,
It's short, ladies and
all
gentlemen,
right. That
but
was the short one. That was more the big one. But let's
we
get
could
into some of these more dramas. Like it is a
oh,
innocence.
how about we
Kill me,
end
kill me.
how about we end we'll end the anime news section with some positivity and some hype.
Both the
Um
originals. Both the
let's
originals.
see.
Wow.
Let's see. Ghost in the Shell and Innocence 4K remaster movies will screen together in theaters from February. The 4K remaster versions of Ghost in the Shell, the 1995 version, and Innocence, the 2004 movie, will.
Ironically, Innocence is only a minute longer than the original. No,
That's
seriously,
great.
if you look at the runtime, Innocence is longer by a minute. I'm like, wow.
So The movies will screen together for the first time. The screening events will commemorate the 30th anniversary of the older movie, as well as the 20th anniversary of the more recent one. The 2-week event will be held on February 28th to March 13th of this year at Tokyo's Toho Cinemas Hibaya. This will all.
Ah,
I know. This will also be
please
the
put
first
this to
time.
Western release. Even to drive an hour to get to my nearest movie theater, I will do it because
We
that's
have
the
the
one that
money.
shows
We
anime.
have the money in capital, ladies and gentlemen, and this falls on my birthday. This falls on my birthday. I would definitely go. Be like,
Damn,
hey, why not?
I'm happy. Good, get it out there. I'm sure there would be when they do re-release it. There's going to be the in memory because the original, she was the OG actress. We did lose the Japanese to the
I
major
wish
last
I
year.
could. I wish I could show the screens and everything, but
Well, we can't.
we can't,
But this looks
unfortunately.
awesome. I think
But
that this is pretty cool.
I think we're cutting it with this. We're cutting it way too close
It's
here.
Ghost in the Shell. It's like, no. We can talk about it, but this looks cool. If those
So
are going to see it, go see it. If you have not seen Ghost in the Shell, what are you doing? What are you doing? Akira, Ghost in the Shell. Without that, no Matrix. It's that important, people. Akira and
yes.
Ghost in the Shell. No Matrix. That important. Especially Akira.
Oh, we have a question from Sailor Outlaw George.
All right.
Just for the sake of asking, how would you guys feel if there were anime adaptations of American video games?
Well, to be fair, to answer that question, we already have a few actually.
Yes, we do
Halo,
have a few.
Halo. Have you seen the Halo adaptations yet? Halo Legends. Shinichi Watanabe directed one of them. They are so good. They are really good. This is back in the day when Bungie was Bungie, and there's like, we got a hot property. Let's do whatever we want with Halo. A bunch of anime people did Halo Legends. It is so good. What else is there like for an anime adaptation of video games? I know Halo was one of them. I guess you could say, obviously, of course, the big one, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, based off the again American, you know, game board game that got adapted into a video game by CD Projekt Red, and then it came full circle with an anime. So pretty badass, actually. Pretty badass, actually. Let's see here. The people who worked on the studio who did the core series for Avatar. They did Dodo's Dragon Blood. Fantastic. Amazing. I thought that was a great adaptation. Castlevania, yep, don't worry. Powerhouse Animations, from the West. We did adapt, was it game number 3? And then they kind of did. Okay, I don't know where this other Belmont falls in. I don't know his game. I know people keep saying, oh, they should do Symphony of the Night. I'm like, not yet. I'm still getting through Nocturne Season 2. I'm just hoping we go back to the other Belmonts before we do the big one that everyone knows, Symphony of the Night, because it's important to get the rest of the Belmonts before we. But we'll have to wait and see for that one because Netflix likes to be canceling stuff lately, and you never know when Castlevania could be like, all right, we're done with Castlevania. I'm like, no. And then we lose that for a long time. Because I know Sam Dates, he did argue that when people are spending millions and millions of dollars on movies or shows, it's like animation's the side of things. They're fighting to get stuff pumped out the door or at least get a green light. So I don't blame Sam Dates for that. I do agree with him on that. I wish there was some more love to the animation side of things. I'm trying to think what else was adapted from America that got a anime adaptation. I know there's a selection of them, but obviously Enter the Animatrix. That's a great. If you're a Matrix fans, watch Enter the Animatrix. That's amazing. It's amazing.
And it does fill in the blanks a little bit here and there. Um, Also, Enter the Matrix. The funny thing about that game is it features like some cut scenes from the films.
Yes.
So, but once you, because there is a video out there, it has the whole thing, the entire Matrix, explained it with those scenes, like the entire thing from the final flight of Osiris to now, as it's because remember the final flight of Osiris is happening during um the events of the Matrix Reloaded. It's happening as this is going. That's how they were, because remember they had that big meeting. Niobe and others, all the other captains with Morpheus, Neo, and Trinity had that big meeting. Those photos, those very photos of like the seismics and everything, all the photographs, that was from the flight of Osiris. That's what they took before they perished, unfortunately, in that whole thing. That's how they were able to get the intel.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah. God,
because
it's been a while. I need to watch that again. It's been a while, but
what once you put the pieces together, you'll be like, oh, so that's what this was. That's how they were able to get it. Because that little box at the end that was thrown in that the little box, the little package thing that was thrown into the mailbox area for the drop off, um, those very photos were in there. Those very photos. And
oh, yep.
also, and also the Niobe's operator. I think Captain Locke or something. He goes, "Oh, it's Deadbolt himself." I busted out
Okay,
laughing at that scene.
okay, okay. To Devil May Cry one once again, the Korra Studio Mura over in South Korea. Yet that is getting. You could call it anime. Whatever. I know that's the term that's being loosely, but it is done by the studio who did Legend of Korra, Dota's Dragon Blood, and I think there was another one they did. Oh yeah, The Witcher. They've done The Witcher adaptations a couple times, so I am hoping Sirens is what I'm looking for because I have no faith in season 5 because I is that even season 5 or season 4? God, what season are we on? I think it's
I
season
think
4
I think we're on 4 from my count.
because I know Cavell left after 3. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
god,
Cavell left. Cavell
because he was
left.
the nerd. He wanted to be faithful,
Yeah,
which we
because
can bring
he
up in the
left.
Hollywood drama section
He
later.
Yeah, he did leave. Also, real
Tomb Raider: The Legend. Would we call it again powerhouse? More in the West, so Western inspired anime. Here's the thing: I got through all those episodes. Not
no.
as bad as I was hoping. Not as good. I think the saving grace for me is one, we have a talented actress playing Laura. She's just given not much to do. It was cool to see a bunch of cool locations actually that could fit it into a Tomb Raider game. Like I'm like, damn, I want this to be a game setting now, or we should go back to the setting again. 3, Jonah's actor came back. All 3 games, ladies and gentlemen, and the show. What's his? Oh my! What is his name? What is his name? I got to give a big shout out to this guy because he is the MVP. What else is there? Oh, I know Adi Shankar. He's got a bunch of stuff from Antwood that's getting adult theme shows. Like besides from Devil May Cry, he's trying to work on Assassin's Creed. He's got a oh my god, this other one that's pretty cool. If it ever gets made, but there's a lot of cool stuff that's getting made. Yeah, there we go. What's his name right here? What's his name? I gotta get a big shout out to this guy. This guy's the MVP. Where is it? Aha!
Give him a moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Earl Balin, right here. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. So, Mr. Earl, you are the MVP to Tomb Raider franchise. He keeps coming back, and I'm like, yes, it's the same actor. That's how you know they like this stuff. That's how you know they like it. Did I want Camilla Luddington to come back for the show? Absolutely. But what? I like the new one. I'm hoping seasons two's better, but we'll go for there. But other than that, let's get into some of the more juicy stuff. Where you want to
Wait,
start? Gaming
hang on
or
one
Hollywood?
second. Hang on one second. Mamoru Oishi commented on the new release. Let's get his
All right,
comments
all right.
first because
Let's do
remember
that guy.
because this has some deep meaning behind it, and and you and I are both content creators, so we understand where he's coming from. So the creator of this beloved anime, he commented on the release. This might be the first time in 20 years, or possibly the first time ever, that I've watched Innocence in its entirety on the big screen. The 4K remaster is incredibly beautiful, and I was impressed by how well it turned out. Back then, we spent years completing the visuals with hand drawn animation and CGI, but the technology at the time couldn't fully capture the intricate details. Now, with high resolution digital scanning, the quality has significantly improved. The power of
Oh
4K
my
is
god.
undeniable. Watching it brought back memories of those days. Honestly, I was in a dark place back then. After finishing Innocence, I was bedridden for 2 months. That energy, what you might call a kind of anguish, is embedded in the film. To create something beautiful, one has to overcome something. Revisiting this work, I felt its passionate intensity, and its decadent charm. I hope
Well,
everyone will come to see it in theaters. I wish we could, um,
please
Oshi
bring it to the
Sensei.
West. I would see it immediately in a heartbeat. But he's not wrong when you think about like this is why people keep saying, like, all the hand drawn stuff is aging better and along with some of the old CGI, but you have to remember this is kind of doing those early hybrid stuff where yes, we have 2D background stills, yes, we still have 2D characters, but some of these models were actually in fully CGI or full 3D when you think about it actually. Like when the first attack of the doll, I think that is a hybrid. I want to say that is a hibernation. I could be wrong. Let one of those animation nerds come out and be like, and correct me if I'm wrong. But just looking at that sequence, I was like, damn, this is pretty cool. Or the main intro for Innocence, I'm like, this is pretty cool. But if you want the big piece, your eyes didn't go eyebrows or go like, oh yeah, you're right. The parade scene in Innocent. You remember the parade sequence, right?
Yes, I remember the parade
You have
sequence.
to remember at that time getting that much detail in both 2D and CGI, that's going to take a lot of strain on stuff. And just like we don't have the technology, well, you got to build it, you got to make it. Like just like the floats floating or like them turning or just the added detail that's on these models are in CG. I'm like, how long did it take you to do this? I don't care, but that's amazing. And
Hmm.
like you said, when you're looking at the stuff that's like, oh yeah, can't you just scan this stuff in? Like he's talking about the whole scanning process, the new technology. Now you can actually really appreciate what just went into that sequence alone. Because when you look at it, you notice so many small details that you don't notice the first time. But now I want to see Innocence on the big screen in the West. And if I can't get in the West, I am hoping for a 4K release of Innocence.
Oh,
Please.
absolutely. I
You
would
know
buy
they're
it.
gonna do it.
I would buy it. My wallet's ready. My wallet is ready. Um. So answer your answer your question, what should we get into? Because we have
There's
a
a
lot.
lot to go through, and it's
Yes.
stuff that's like, well, you reap what you sow, or now we're backpedaling.
So why don't we get into the Captain America since that's the hottest topic right now?
Oh my god, what is Anthony Mackie doing? What is he doing?
What? Okay, so here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen.
There's
Me,
two responses to this. His
me,
first one, and then his clarification.
yeah. So here's out, ladies and gentlemen. We wanted to give this movie the benefit of the doubt. It's another Falcon Captain America crossover.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Falcon's now Captain America. Whatever. I've kind of accepted that at this point. Bucky was the better choice. I'm sorry, did I say something? But his actor wants to be done. Bucky's actor wants to be done with the MCU, so Thunderbolt is his last film, unless he signed another contract. I highly doubt that. So he's done. But when your movie's close to being out there, and all the trailers I've seen, I'm like, it's not bad looking. I'm like, this actually looks to be good. Hopefully they can get it right. I like that Harrison Ford is, well, because the other actor sadly passed away for that character, so getting Harrison Ford was the right call. We're finally getting Red Hulk. Sweet. And like I said, the trailers, it looks like to be finally what I've been asking for, a grounded MCU film. Can they stick the landing, though, is the question. And then, well, there's also been multiple reshoots, which never is very good, because I'm like, can't you guys catch a break over there? And now this happens. What is he trying to say?
So
I'm,
Captain,
I'm
so Cap,
baffled.
yeah, Captain, and remember, Anthony Mackie up until this point, he was fine. He was fine. The movie's coming out. It's okay. Everything will be okay. The film is going to get a fair response from fans and everything. We're going to give it a fair response. But then he goes and does this, and it's like, why?
What are
Why?
you trying to say?
I asked the question. I asked this question. Why is it every time we get like a halfway decent movie that's ready to come out and everything, it's halfway decent. It's not terribly bad. It's halfway decent, and they shit the bed within 25 seconds of a post. All of that out the window. So, Captain America Brave New World star Anthony Mackie says Star Spangled Avenger represents a lot of different things, but I don't think the term America should be one of those representations. Now, what on earth does he mean by that? In kicking off
What?
the Captain America Brave New World press tour,
It
oh my god, the
too.
worst thing to do, the worst thing to do on a press tour is do
It
this.
too. Bakujanano. Bakujanano. Bakujanano.
Yeah. Yes. So
Like,
let's
what is
see.
he trying to say here?
Let's see. Per a video response shared to Instagram by Italian entertainment news website, the Redhead's Diaries. I'm sorry, that's actually a pretty hilarious name, but I like it. I like that. Obsessively asked to what the flag-clad hero represents to him. The actor opinion, for me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations. It's about a man who keeps his word, who has his honor, dignity, and integrity, he explained. Someone who is trustworthy and dependable. Uh,
Bakujanano?
Unfortunately, for those curious to his thinking, rather than expounding on his critique, Mackie then completely changed gears to offer up a non secular reflection about how his upcoming appearance as the second MCU was Captain America, kind of an aspect of a dream coming true. All of us actors, I believe, want to get back to the day before someone told you no, said the actor. His intentions now fully divert from the initial question. When you look out your door and you see a 5-year-old kid with a stick and he's slaying dragons to save the princess in the tower, that kid
Let me
really
stop you
believes.
right there. I stopped listening the moment you started speaking. I'm doing the Skeletor meme. I'm like, Maggie, what does this have to do about the question at hand? That's what he's doing. He's dodging. It's either he realized that, shit, I shouldn't have said that. Let me change the subject to get them off guard. I mean, to what I'm trying to figure what he's trying to paraphrase here a little bit. It's what Iron Man, it's what Robert Downey Jr. said. Grandma, be proud of you. If you remember some of the behind the scenes stuff, like on the DVDs or like FX, kind of like getting into the Iron Man suit, yeah, it takes a while, but you know what? Grandma, be
What's up,
proud.
Outlaw?
Why? Because it is like we get to wear the suit. We're finally these characters. We're finally seeing these big heroes on the big screen for the first time. No longer in comic book form, not an animation. We're finally on the big screen. I think that is cool. What how Robin puts it too, and I get it. Like I want to slay a dragon too on the big screen. I'm never gonna get it, but it's like there it is. Like I'm finally there on the big screen, walking around with everybody. I mean, look at Stan Lee. That man created our comic book characters. If Jack Kirby was still around, I bet he'd be smiling but saying, I'm finally here. These are my characters. I created, I wrote for them. Like this is the dream.
Hmm.
But what does
I,
this have to do about the question above, Mackie?
I,
That's what we're raging about. This is like a nothing burger. It's been said before, it's said dozens of times, and I'm like, you know what? He was great as Falcon. Does he need to be Captain America? He had a great Bucky run. Why couldn't we get that instead? But he's got to prove himself. You got to prove yourself here, Cap. If not,
exactly. And then, ladies and gentlemen, to make matters even worse for this man,
he kind of backpedals a little
he
bit.
he backpedaled so badly. Let me be clear about this. I'm a proud American, and taking on the shield of a hero like Cap is the honor of a lifetime. I have the utmost respect for those who serve and have served our country. Cap has universal characteristics that people all over the world can relate to.
Now, in my opinion, why didn't you say this at first? If you said this
This
first,
would
I
have
would have
been
been like,
fine.
I
This
would
would
have,
have
you would
been
have been
fine.
fine. Now, the reason why, for context for everything that we said, is that wait, so you're saying you're not standing for America? Cap was for America, the country, the people, the citizens. You know, he was like back in World War II fighting when he punched Funny Mustache Man. That's in the first comic book. You remember that, right? Everybody knows
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
All you have to
Everybody.
do is just Google Captain America first issue when it was out. That's what you see. That's what you see the character stand for. And of course, the character evolves over time throughout the many different runs. Like, who's ever writing for Cap at the time, what arc he's going through. Cap, to me, did stand for America and the underdogs. Like, every superhero stands for the underdogs. And Cap was literally the underdog. He was, you know, mm, couldn't quite complete the military training camp, but he was able to go through the superhero program, the super soldier program, and that's how he became Captain America. A good hero isn't defined by what skin tone, identity, whatever. A good hero, you believe in their actions, you believe in their words. Like when they did the whole dummy grenade sequence, you remember, first movie for Captain America, first soldier, when they did the grenade scenes during training camp, everybody else, gets out of the way of the dummy grenade. What does Steve Rogers do? He gets on top of the grenade. That is a hero. You understand the character right then and there. Cap will put his life on the line.
Hmm. And and remember, Captain America. In the movie, I feel like the first movie that they did of him, it told a wonderful story of like where he began and everything, which is completely fine because it does make in a way it makes sense.
I
And,
think
and
here's the thing with the Phase One movies. I think when you look back at them now, I want these movies again.
yeah,
Sure,
because we had no idea what we were gonna get when the first Captain America, the first Iron Man, the first Thor movie,
here's the thing
and the
about Thor.
first
I
Hulk
actually love
movie.
the first Thor movie. Took me many, many years to appreciate what the hell they were doing with Thor, and I look back at that movie with more respect and the more restraint it had over the years. I'm like, wow, they told a character story with Thor. A bit rough here and there with Kenneth Branagh, but I'm like, this was a great movie. Why can't I get more movies like this again?
And also here's some of the here's the comic from the Captain America issue volume 1 issue number 233 Armageddon from 1986. This is a page from it, and the general is questioning where his loyalties lie, and Captain America goes, I'm loyal to nothing, General, except the dream," and he's holding the American flag. That right there is very powerful because he fights for America. He fights for the dream of every individual, even
Look
the
at his
general.
shield. Look at his
Even
outfit.
the general,
America.
the general maybe an
You're a
asshat here
generic
and there.
general in comics and entertainment, but
Yeah, he may be an asshat and everything, but I'm pretty sure deep down his dreams is also somewhere in there as well. Captain America's fighting for his dream as well, deep down. Deep down he knows. And that soldier in the background right there, his dream is being fought for as well. He's fighting with Captain America on this. And I think this is the time we get, I forget who the bad guy was in the newspaper. Ben.
it's been years. Someone will
It's been,
know.
yeah, someone
You
would
can
know
go
this
ask
one.
somebody else, like, hey, who's he fighting? They'll be like, this character. I'm like, thank you.
Yep. But this is what Captain America really is. And unfortunately, I cannot show the cover of him punching Adolf Hitler due to
Funny
uh
mustache man.
no, I can say it here. I can say it here because
All right,
it's whatever.
for obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons, but for the very obvious reason, I mean, I could say his name, I just can't show the symbol. That's the thing about it, because I've noticed that it didn't get hit too bad. So with that nonsense, with all that out of the way, um, Captain America, in part, fights for what he believes in, as well as many others. He fights with the people who have the same goals aligned with him. They want to help people, and they may be heroes and everything. And remember, it takes a lot of courage to be one. Like jumping on, like, even though we all know the grenade was a dummy, but the fact of the matter is, it felt real because he sprung. Steve Rogers did jump on that grenade thinking it was real. Now, to everybody, it may be a laugh, but to some, it's like, you know what? I respect that. I can respect that this man is willing to, like, literally take the blast for everybody. That's integrity right there, ladies and gentlemen. It's easy to cower and run away. It's easy to cower and run away. It's easy. But when the challenge is presented to you, it's how you go through with it. Now, look, I'm pretty sure that Anthony Mackie, I don't know what his mindset was that day. That day he
Or
said
who
this
told
because
him to go off, or I don't
because
think of
remember
someone else telling him what to
some of
say.
these PR people who are in charge of this stuff are complete idiots. We've seen it time and time again. Look at Snow White. That's the whole controversy with that. I mean, Rachel Zellweger can't keep her mouth shut. That's her own doing, by the way. It's not it. That's her own blatant way of doing it. Here, however, it's someone must have told him, "Hey, you want to generate more of this? Say this, and the viewership is going to go up, ladies and gentlemen." Nope. Pretty much, he smacked his words. What he said just smacked the face of everybody who was halfway looking forward to this film. Looks good on the theatrical. Don't get me wrong, the trailer looks good, but this right here is how you kill your movie. Not even a week into release.
I mean, hold on. When does it come? Hold on.
I could be wrong, but this close to movie release, yeah, you just killed your movie. You just killed your movie.
One. Oh, wait, hold on. On 29th, so that's one. About 2.5 weeks, so you're close. You're cutting it. But
Mm,
I also remember something that people keep saying that, oh, we need like you have a bunch of characters. To me, this also kind of strange enough on a side note that it does tie into that we have no. There's a lot of representation out there in comic books. There's a ton out there. I mean, if they want to make Falcon the next Captain America, again, I have no problem. Again, I like Anthony Mackie. He is still, despite all this crap here, I can still give him from like you're not Captain America. Is
yeah,
that
you're
he is
not.
still a respectable actor. He can act, and there's a lot of cool stuff out there that I'm like, why don't we make some of the other characters famous? Like we can do that. Hell, I even forgot Falcon was still Cap's sidekick
Mhm.
until Winter Soldier came out. I'm like, God damn, I forgot
And
Falcon was his sidekick.
about time. Can we just say, despite everything, can we just say that we're finally gonna see Hawkgirl and Superman? Finally. I mean, I know she's not the toned up one we saw in the Justice League animated series.
But
At
finally,
least,
Hawkgirl again after the CW run. I'm like, finally, I get to see Hawkgirl. You know what? Here's the thing. We can talk about that more later. Well, again, even that Superman trailer. Who do we see? We see John Carter's Green Lantern. I'm like, the hair still looks weird on Nathan Fillion. I know. People are like, why is he Carter? He should be the other guy. I'm like, I agree
every
with you.
time I see that, every time I see that scene, I bust out laughing. I
I know.
bust out.
I know.
I'm
We
like,
keep
did they
saying that we
just?
want comic book accurate characters. I'm like, okay, maybe you could tone back the hair a bit. But who cares? He should have been the other Green Lantern, but
Because he
I
looks
have a
like
Green
Christopher
Lantern.
Lloyd. He looks like Christopher Lloyd. I swear to God. I'm like, the first time I saw that, I'm like, wait, Christopher Lloyd is in a Superman movie? Okay, that's not
I
on
know
my
he should
bingo
have been
card.
Jordan. He should have been Hal Jordan, which is what we were all hoping for. But who cares? I have a Green Lantern. But I haven't seen in a long time, despite someone's going to say, yeah, you have. Mr. Terrific looks terrific. No, seriously, the actor playing Mr. Terrific in Superman Legacy looks terrific.
Oh,
Well, you think it's going to happen in the film? You never know. It could happen.
it could happen. We do
I mean, he has
see.
a new suit and everything, so maybe it does happen. Well, we'll see if we get that far with the DC universe. If we'll see. So, by the way, well, to be fair, I always want to say this: you have to stand out somehow. Do you want the origin story for the 15th time in a row, or do you want to see some new characters?
What's up,
Do you want to
Gatsui there?
see the other villains?
Hey,
So
Bacon. What's up, buddy?
it's just how they're going to handle all of them. If they're in the film every once in a while, I'll be fine with that. I'll be fine with that. But if they're in it forever, I'm going to say we should have reduced the screen time on them for a little bit. But again, heck, if I want to watch the origin story, I'll go watch Smallville again, which I haven't watched in outside of one or two episodes. So I need to really get on that. I'll probably find a
Mhm.
copy somewhere. Captain I
Well,
Hate America. One thing still haven't learned, but which we'll get into later. What else is happening?
let's see what
But
else we got going on in the
you know what? What
crazy.
about that Elliot Page? What
Oh
is
my
she
God!
doing?
No, let's
This
get
needs
into
to be
that.
talked about.
This needs to be addressed because I thought it was a joke when you sent me that. Because when you
No, it's
sent me,
not. It's been reported multiple times now.
I'm like, wait a damn minute here.
I
This
have
is
played the
years
game.
too
I'll
late.
let you go first, then I'll explain why this is a bad choice.
This is way too late. The game is long been since out. If you
2013
2013, so
got a
we're
re-release in
past
2018, I believe.
so we're past what 12 years into this. We're 12 years too late for this. We're 12 years too late because now if this was done at the same time the game was out and about, probably a year or two, fine. Fine. We wouldn't be bitching. But we have issues with this. I'm gonna let
Yeah,
Joker.
2013 original,
I'm gonna let
2015
Joker.
re-released, and 2019 Windows Day. But you go first. I'll tell you why this. I'm going to ask a question. Have you even played this game?
No, I have not.
I have. I'll let you go first.
This now, if it was, no, Phil, you're awesome. Thank you and welcome, buddy. No, seriously, that would be a perfect parody for Elliot Page. That would be the perfect parody right there. We already have it right there. Anyway, joking aside, beyond, Jesus Christ, people. Oh my goodness. Keep them coming,
That
please.
poor lady.
Now, if this was under Ellen Page, I wouldn't give a damn. I wouldn't give a damn. I wouldn't give a fuck. Be like, if it ties into the game, fine, fine. Let it do its thing. But no, we had to wait until the very oddly questionable change with this individual. Now it won't work. It won't work, ladies and gentlemen. It does not. It defeats the entire purpose of that game, and we all know why. However, that is my opinion on this. Joker, on the other hand, who has played this game and he's been waiting patiently, I give the baton to him, and he'll go into way more, and he'll fill in the blanks for everybody.
Okay, so the problem with this adaptation, like we said, the original game came out back in 2013. There was the PS4 re-release in 2015 with updated, you know, textures and everything, but not really with the controls. The controls were based around like body movement. You could still control it in 3D environment, control the characters a certain way. But some of these quick time events, you kind of had to guess where maybe an attack was coming from or where she was going. So it's like it's only in certain parts of the gameplay, but it felt really weird and awkward. But there was a re-release again on the Windows about like 40 like back in 2019. So I'm like, okay, but talk about striking when the iron is cold here. Hardly anybody, even if they were a fan of this game, might say, "Oh, cool, Beyond Two Souls," but it's Beyond Two Souls. The problem with Beyond Two Souls, from my opinion, has always been this weird nature of kind of going back and forth in a non-linear format with some of the flashbacks. You kind of, and it's weird how they tell the story. So there's a protagonist, Ellen Page's character. So she's the main one you control as, but there's also this weird invisible person you never see that she can somehow, the presence is always aware. She knows what this thing is, so she calls it Iden. So it's kind of like a little bit paranormal activities in some way. But unlike paranormal activity, the entity really doesn't hurt Ellen unless she uses it too often. Okay, so that could make this an interesting story. But the problem is this: the story is kind of janky. The story is kind of wackadoodle doo. Yes, it's David Cage. I like the man for what he's written and directed, but Beyond Two Souls is not one of his strong suits. Why? It's like, to me, the whole concept of is that Beyond Two Souls really only works in a video game adaptation. If you try to do it in a live action setting for a show, it's not The Last of Us. It's not The Witcher. It's not Game of Thrones. It's not anything you can think about, like for a video game like Gears of War that's still coming to Netflix, that could work in a video game format. Why? At least there's better drama, better characters, better action. Here, how do you tell this character story? It would have to be a new character completely to like get it off the ground. But the problem is, Beyond Two Souls is kind of weak in story. Sure, you kind of go through different stages of this character's life, like from young childhood, adolescence, teenagers, young adult, military. You're kind of working with Willem Dafoe, who's a science character, who's like, your parents tell me you have this friend of yours, and he's one of the better actors in the game, but sadly, they don't do a whole lot really. Sure, there's like this paranormal activity center that they all go to and research and develop, and somehow a portal opens up, which is pretty cool actually. But that was one standout moment next to another one, and this is why I would call this game to be kind of boring. Now compare Beyond Two Souls to a what I think would be a great follow up, Detroit Becomes Humans.
Yeah,
That is what Beyond Two Souls try to be, and Detroit Becomes Humans is the far better experience actually. This game just does not translate well into a show format because what do I do with a character? Do we go on adventures? Do we have a crime drama to adapt? I know Square Enix is trying to adapt Life is Strange, but to be fair, I think Life is Strange could work if they just hire better writers and stop making it the CW crap teen dramas that I see all the time. But this does not work, ladies and gentlemen. It does not. I think I would enjoy Beyond Two Souls as a game if it was like a point and click adventure game, not something that's trying to be like 9, 12 hours of drama. That's all just soap opera drama. That's the best way to describe Beyond Two Souls. Soap opera drama, the video game, with one cool set sequence. Maybe two at least. You know what? Maybe three. Or maybe four. I'll do four because I'm being generous. Because there were times where I felt like the story actually was pretty good. Like when you go to the Paranormal Activity Center where you're trying to close the gate, which I felt like that was cool. Or you're kind of like with this native tribe on this land that you could possibly find some quiet life. I feel like that was cool. Seeing the homeless people that she was with for a little while. Again, I feel like that was pretty cool. I get to see more of this character. And then one military operation, which I kind of did like. I'm like, all right, that was cool, but that's about it. Nothing else is that unique, really. Hell, they even put the plot in the government. Oh, we got to stop the enemy from getting this technology or what they're going to open. I'm like, so we had time for that and not developing anything else.
yep.
You have to play the game to experience it, but if not, you can always check out the YouTube channels and all their wonderful video gameplay videos because that's the best way to experience it. Watch someone else play it because it's like baffling this will get made.
Yes. So apparently, exclusive. Amid a resurgence of video game based TV series with the success of The Last of Us and Fallout, I I believe Fallout is the better one.
Fallout is a
Um,
better one.
Another popular game title, Beyond Two Souls, is getting a TV series adaptation.
Popular. Does anybody cosplay these characters? Does anybody draw the fan art still?
The language of these people, Joker. The language of these
I
people.
mean, it was popular at the time because it's another David Cage game. It's another Quantic Dream game. But even then, at the same time, it's like, okay. And the selling point for this game was this is actually one of those first instances for video games. They actually showed it off at festivals, actually. Yes, Beyond Two Souls was shown off at some film festivals because they had like Willem Dafoe. Yeah, Willem Dafoe was in it. You know, obviously, of course, Ellen Page was in it. And again, they're trying to be like, we have these big stars in these games now. Like, and to be fair, if you're at a film festival seeing a video game for the first time, this probably would be cool actually to see what's gonna happen.
Hmm.
Because we kind of keep saying that like even Christopher Nolan showing up at the VGA Awards a couple years back ago, he's not wrong. We are blurring the line between actual watching a film to playing a video game. I mean, he's not wrong, but At this point, at that time, this was not the pioneer, but probably one of those starting points of we are really blurring the line between watching a film, watching a show, and playing a video game. Like they're not wrong. Continue, please.
Elliot Page's Page Boy. I can't even. I can't even say it.
Start
Good
calling
grief.
Ellen Page.
Elliot Page's Page Boy Productions. I why? Just that alone, I want to throw up. Has acquired the rights from the video game developer Quantic Dreams SAS to develop a Beyond Two Souls television series. The game, which starred Page alongside William Defoe, follows Jodie Holmes. See, this right here, ladies and gentlemen, does not work. This in as Joker states, it does not work. It does not work. I'm hoping I am hoping beyond hope Elliot Page does not play the character. I am hoping beyond hope. Because if you would get a female in there at least, then it's one thing. A young woman with extraordinary supernatural abilities who becomes entangled in a web of government conspiracies and otherworldly forces. Connected to a mysterious entity named Aiden, Jodie must navigate both military exploitation and otherworldly threats while discovering the true nature of her powers. The series adaptation, now in early development, is expected to explore the game's non-linear narrative following Jodie's journey from government experiment to fugitive as she navigates her abilities and her connection to Aiden. Filming the game was one of the most challenging and fulfilling acting experiences of my career, Page said. The story's rich narrative and emotional depth offers us a fantastic foundation. We want to create a unique vision for the characters and their journey that resonates with fans and newcomers. The Beyond Two Souls game, developed by Quantic Dream and published by Sony Computer Entertainment of America, premiered at the 2013 Tribeca Film Festival. It was. Okay, you were correct there. I forgot this premiered at a film festival till you mentioned it. I didn't know which one it was. The second time the festival had recognized a video game, it was praised for its cinematic approach to gaming and Page's and Defoe's performances. They're not wrong. They're not wrong about Defoe. Defoe is a legend. The adaptation will honor the game's legacy while inviting fresh perspectives. Page Boy's head of development and producer Matt Jordan Smith said, delving into questions of survival and how split second decisions can alter not just our lives, but the lives of others are key to telling the story.
I mean, well, yes, there are decisions making in that game. Some of them are mandatory decisions. Some of them can get you to a better ending depending on who you save and who you don't. Others are just kind of like, okay, I made a choice. No big deal. Whatever. Though one of the standout moments I do like as a young girl for Jodie is that you can go to this, you are forced to go to this party because part of the story, because she wanted to go to, and you have all like the teenagers, doing whatever they want and everything, and you kind of party until the mom gets back. But at one point in the storyline, they kind of want to know that you work with her mom in the ghost lab as they call it. So do you have this thing with you, Aiden? She's like, you could say no or yes, but they kind of want to know how this thing works. Okay. Now you would think that okay, they're not going to do the cliche. Oh yeah, they do the cliche thing. They lock it in the closet after it's done. And you do have a choice. One, you can walk out, nothing happens. Or you can, like you and me, you can get your sweet, sweet revenge on them. You do
Mm-hmm.
the revenge option, you can actually go a little brutal on these kids, actually. And I was shocked and surprised. I'm like, okay, this is cool. You go all the way through, Jordan will tell you to stop and like, we got to get out of here. And that's when the mom shows up. She's like, what are you doing out here? And then it's like, uh oh. She walks in, you don't see anything. What happens? Just the aftermath. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Or you could do some things and then leave early, and then the kids run out of the house. I'm like, so I kind of laugh at that point. But then that's when the daughter, because the mom comes home, and again, nothing too bad happened to the kids. And then it's like, oh, she's evil, mom. She's like the devil. I'm like, brat. You're the one who locked me in the closet. It could have been worse. So I'm
Hmm.
like, those were kind of cool, unique outcomes. They're not unique, but I'm like, it's different. I thought that was cool that they even gave you the option to kind of leave during the revenge and be like, yeah, it's not worth it.
Yep. It's not sometimes. Let's see. Beyond Two Souls joins Pageboy Productions' slate of upcoming projects. Oh boy, I wonder what else they have coming up. The company also just signed. Oh, I'm gonna get my answer right here then. The company also just signed a developmental deal with Canada's Bell Media. We are absolutely thrilled to collaborate again with Elliot Page on this project, said Quantic Dream writer and director David Cage. I was blown away by. Oh, dear God. They really don't want us to remember Ellen Page. They really do not, ladies and gentlemen. They they do not. But for the sake of reading, I was blown away by his acting performance in the game, and I couldn't think of anyone else to tell this story with the same passion on another medium. Beyond Two Souls is a very special game for millions of players around the world who are moved by the story of Jodie and Aiden and their journey in life and beyond. I know that Elliot has all the talent and instinct to make it something really unique on TV.
No, like, how are they going to adapt this? It's probably going to be a new storyline because in one of the endings, you could go with the homeless people. You know, they make good money for what they can get by. Obviously, with your military background, training, and a few of the things you can help them provide because, again, military service. So I'm like, okay, you probably get some money. But if you go with them, they have a kid named Zoe. And apparently, in the future, yeah, they try to get a sequel out of this game to sequel bait you. That there was going to be more coming. I'm like, great. A sequel to a game that I didn't enjoy playing. Great. Never happened. Never happened. So it's either going they're either going to go down in that route or it's just going to be a new story because I have no idea how they could do this. I have no idea how they could do this. I
Yeah,
mean, if anything, if you want to
I
adapt something from Quantic Dream, I would say this: it would be Heavy Rain. That would have been the better choice to adapt, actually, and you could improve upon the story, improve the characters, and make it a better story, actually. Because Heavy Rain is still one of the best games they've made for Quantic Dream, next to Detroit Become Human.
we have no
Yo,
idea.
this was just announced. I mean, Beyond Two Souls, 2013 game. I mean, it was at the time. It's like it's
Well, we didn't
whatever.
hear. This is before everything, before the culture war, before everything. So at the time, it's like just another game trying to do
Do
something.
whatever it wants to do, and it's David Cage. Probably to show off the power of the PS3 at the time, and then go from there. You know, like whatever.
Yeah,
So
but this is like 12 years way too late,
12 years
and
too late. Like I said, talk about striking when the iron is cold. Like, who was this for? Who was this for? Gears of
I
War, at least I know who that's for is. Because, damn, a Netflix making a Gears of War game? That would be great. Hell, Dave Bautista, the man himself, posted a video on Twitter to that Netflix account and said, I'll make this real simple. There's him, like, looking at the suitcase. He opens it up. He's like, yeah. And it's him wearing the Gears armor. And he's like, it's about time. I'm like, Funny enough, the reason why he said that is that back in an IGN, he did like one of those back in the days where they used to read the comments sections for some of these interviews. There was a comment that said for Dave Bautista that said, "Get this man as Marcus Phoenix," and he said to the commenter, "Thank you so much for this." And he's a fan of Gears of War actor. Yes, Dave Bautista is a gamer, and he loves Gears of Wars. And he
That's
said,
why
like,
he
I would
that's why he
love
played
for this to
Sweet
be.
Tooth so perfectly. That's
If
why
he was Marcus Phoenix, I'm like, I'm down for it. It's Dave Bautista. He's a gamer, loves the games. Go for it. But right now, I need both him and Terry Crews in a Gears of War movie. I don't care what the plot is. I just need those two, and I'm good to go.
exactly. And it's just gonna sorry. It's just gonna th- now as we both stated, we just heard this today. We just heard
Today.
this today of all days. So we do
Today, folks. Today.
we
Not
do
something that
not
was
know.
like teased 2 or 3 years ago, which I would have been like, okay, we're getting the show now, but we'll have to watch it, see it. But today,
Yeah, so we have no release date. We don't have anything at the current present but just the announcement, and that's it. This is what we're working with right now, ladies and
and when
gentlemen.
stuff gets announced, it is meant to like draw attention, get the shareholders' investment. I mean, look at how long are games in development for, or at least anything's in development for. They always tell you who's starring in it, who's directing, who's writing, whatever, who's producing it. It's to gain attention, attraction. I mean, look at the Borderlands movie. Look at that. They announced it's like Borderlands movie. Let's go for it. And then they announced the cast. It's like only one of them makes sense. Kate Blanchett and Jack Black at the time. And they finally show the trailer. I'm like, talk about many years too late, and talk about when the franchise is in limbo right now. And then I saw it. And then I saw that movie. You were right. Borderlands 1 movie with Borderlands 2 characters. Borderlands 1 movie with Borderlands 2 characters.
I
I feel
was
bad.
I'm like I saw that and I'm like wait, because at first I'm like, okay, we got Lilith, we got I saw
Roland,
I saw Brick, I saw Roland. Okay, we're in the right direction. Then I see Tiny Tina, Krieg, and
I felt like
Claptrap.
it's got to be a side story. I feel like it's going to be a side story, like what they were doing in between stuff.
Yeah, like in between the in between one and two, which
And then General
you could make
Knox
the
showed
argument.
up. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
oh,
when Knox showed up, I'm like,
it's not
oh
even Knox.
no, no.
And then they changed Tina's entire backstory. I'm like, no, she's supposed to be on Pandora. Her parents are captured, and I saw Craig there. I'm like, oh, they're gonna do the whole confirming the theory that Craig is Tina's dad. Actually, they don't even have the courage to do that. That would have been
No,
cool
they
just to
don't.
say, yes, this is her dad. I'm like, I've been like, yeah. And then everybody just looks so. Either one, Lilith is too old. Again, I love you, Kate.
Kate, we
She's my
love
favorite
you.
actress.
We love
And
you.
thank you for being the only one who played the game. I'm glad she played the games. I'm like, thank you,
Yes,
Kate, for doing your assignment. Thank you.
for that's all we ask is like, do you know what the game is
Play the
about?
games,
Do you know
please.
just the first game? Just play the first game and you're fine. Just
Thank
play
you.
as the
Thank you.
character
Thank you
that
so much.
you're addressing here, and you're completely fine.
Tying
With
Tina's actress and Craig off, I'm like, yeah, they fit the characters. They fit pretty well. Moxie was the best looking one out of all of them.
oh yeah,
Oh my god. I felt like, okay, this is not going to do great with Moxie. But no, when I saw her, just the way she acted, the way she wore the outfit, I'm like, it was accurate. I'm like, that's Moxie right there. That was Moxie. She might
it
have been
was.
older, but I was like, god damn, that's Moxie. That
Yep,
is her right there.
that was
Even
Moxie.
Marcus's actors, I'm like, yeah, you should have been my main narrator. You should have been.
Yeah,
You should have started the movies like, so you want to hear a story then? Well, I'll tell you one. I'm like, oh, here we go. Again, right costume. He's got the right height, right build. And then I see Kevin Hart. I feel so
Kevin,
bad for him. I do feel bad for him because
Kevin, we like some of your movies, but this was
I think he's still a good. No, I would argue the fact he is a good actor in certain
he's
projects.
a good actor.
He's been
No
trying to get some
denying
more
that.
drama stuff lately, and it's been working out. I'm like, okay, he can do the serious stuff, and this
But you know what
definitely
the
more
perfect
miscasted. But there was a few times in the movie where I felt like, okay, that's the character. He's getting it. Like they're finally doing it, and then another moment was like, hey, this is great. Or when he saves the team, he's like, you guys go, I'll hold them off. I'm like, yes, this is something that Roland would do. He would do this. This is great. I'm getting the character. And then he had one good drama scene. I'm like, this is a good scene, actually. He's getting it. And then the movie's over by that point. I'm like, oh, well.
if I could say, I feel like Terry Crews.
I think my pick for Roland would have been Michael B. Jordan. I think he would have done the character better.
It would be Michael B. Jordan. Not the basketball player, ladies and gentlemen, not the basketball player, not the basketball legend,
His
not
son,
him,
his son.
his son. It would be Michael B. Jordan or Terry Crews. Those are the
Or
only
Terry
two.
Crews would have been the
Those are
fantastic.
the only two I could.
I think
Terry
one of
Crews
those
can do.
two would have been the better choice. Because Kevin, like,
Terry
I
Crews.
love you, man. I still respect you, but man, like, it's not the best material. And then you have that film Hollywood drama controversy. The controversy has always been who wrote the screenplay? Because
And for the
apparently it's by
sake,
one of the people who did HBO's Chernobyl. Apparently that was the initial screenplay that they were all using and everything. And then I guess some more writers were coming into it even before that. And then Eli Roth wrote some additional stuff and some more parts of the screenplay. So people are still getting credited, but then it's like, who wrote the screenplay? Because no matter how many times you come out with it, some defenders will always say, but the original movie screenplay was beautiful. Can you at least link me in the screenplay to that movie that we never got? That you keep saying was beautiful? That was great? Because you see, Eli Roth is credited as screenplay, and then somebody by the name of, can you even pronounce this name? I'm like, who? Like, who is this person? Like, who is this person? Like, what did they write? I'm putting in a private chat. Can you say this name? Like, who is this individual?
Joe Krababakalakashaka Turkestan. Joe
Joe Crombie.
Crombie. I never heard
Who's
of this.
Joe Crombie?
I never heard of this individual. I'm
I mean,
like,
some people don't get credit or anything, but like, who is this? And like I said,
I
going back to multiple
understand.
rewrites, there were multiple rewrites to the screenplay for additional dialogue, additional scenes, reshoots. And apparently, if they knew how bad this movie was, because you got to please everybody, this could have been one of two things. One, we'll just make a pen name. Two, it's a pen name. Three, Eli Roth's like, just make a pen name. No one will know the difference. Or four, it is a pen name by somebody else that they just don't want to admit to. Heck, even the guy who wrote the screenplay for this film said, I removed my name from the film completely. You sure this isn't you? Or it's just someone who doesn't exist, and it's like, we'll just blame them and let everybody ignore this drama. Because that's the problem with Hollywood. Some of these adaptations could be great for a film or for a show, but they always do it the wrong way. I think a Borderlands movie is still possible. It just needs to be R-rated. As a matter of fact, according to a stunt coordinator from the Borderlands movie said, oh yeah, this film was R-rated before it was edited down. I'm like, God damn, what are you doing? It is an M-rated video game. M-rated, people. That's all I asked for. M-rated.
That's all we ask. We just
I will
wanted. We
say
just
there's two things about Borderlands that did right. The costumes were correct, and the guns were awesome. The guns were awesome. Because I was like, ooh.
seeing the Affinity pistol. I almost lost it. That
Oh,
was.
the Infinity Pistol was excellent.
I'm like, okay. I
And
can
the
live
different
with
weapons they
this.
were using. I'm like, yes, this is the game. I want different weapons. I need the shotguns. I need to see all the different effects. I'm like, yes, we're doing it. And then they open up the tune, and then they use the key. I'm like, all right. And then that was
Because
it.
you do get the vault the keys and everything from the codes and all that. You do
And
get
Tans was
those.
always crazy. Hell, I'll even say this for the casting. It is such a weird casting. Like even the girl herself, the fan girl herself, Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie as Tannis. Like,
I
isn't Tannis supposed to be younger? I mean, I love
yes.
Jamie Lee Curtis. I absolutely admire her, and I'm glad she was in this movie. Like, she's still pretty. I like her. I'm like, yeah, I could totally see her as Tannis, actually. But I
Only
think out
if
of
she
all of them,
colored her
she was the
hair,
one who's
it would have
mostly,
been more believable.
yeah, but she was the one who was actually cosplaying the most. Like, she was actually cosplaying the character. Like, not the actual, but she really was cosplaying. And I think that worked to her advantage, actually. Despite not being good in only a few scenes, I'm like, you know what? She was good in the role. Just a bit too old, that's all.
Hmm.
But anyways,
I
back to more
I
Hollywood drama. Or is that it for our Hollywood drama? Or is there one more? Because I know there's a couple.
no, I think let's see, we did the Captain America.
Did
We
the Elliot Page,
did
which I'm like more frustrated about.
I think we got I think we got hold on, let me see. I'm looking. I'm trying to stay concurrent with the current no, I think
We can talk about a little bit Selena Gomez. What are you doing, Selena? What are
oh
you doing?
yeah.
Look,
Oh.
Selena. There's a point in time where you don't make videos or don't say anything. We could talk about that a little bit, but I'm just gonna say this for this. She made a video about what's happening in the world, at least what's happening currently, but she's getting mocked for her fake crying in the video, saying what's happening, and then she deletes the video.
Should we
Selena,
uh,
stop. Just
yes.
stop. Either
Selena
just say don't say anything at all, or just promote your next project, please.
I like it better when they promote their next project. That way, it's just like, oh, okay, they're still doing their thing and
I mean, it's
all of
like Ricky
that.
Gervais said the Golden Globes many years ago. Now get up here, get your award, thank your producers, thank your agency, and nothing else. You have no reason to be talking down to people. You know what? Many years later, this man is still right. He is still right because that's the truth. You get up here, you get your awards, you thank everybody else. Don't talk about the politics. Don't talk about anything. You have no business talking about what you don't know about. It's true. It's true.
Precisely that. Should we really get into this one right here? The Marvels, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
I think we need to talk about this because one, I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. Two, we love Spider-Man. And thirdly,
You're about to have a
we need to
heart
talk about
attack.
this.
You're about to have a heart attack.
If this is the one I think that it is, I'm like, oh.
It never, it never ends. This is the joke that never ends. It's like, where is the punchline in this? Because you say one thing, so
I know there was a follow-up to this where I think he was just a bit too stressed out, but let's talk about this because folks, there's a reason why this is winning. There's a reason why, you know, Stuff like the old stuff like Gantz or the new stuff that's like My Dress Up Darling is winning. They write good stories. They make you care about the characters. And even something that's so simple as making cosplay actually has an effective story on how we treat people, how we respect one another, how we keep our emotions bundled inside, and can you truly find something that's special? Even if someone's a jackass or a dick, they have their own ways of creating art that we just appreciate. Even how strict George R. R. Martin was for years for Game of Thrones being adapted, that was his way. He just said, no, I don't want this to be adapted. And I'm like, good for him for a while. And we did get those adaptations. That's fine. Even Demon Slayer, I may not be the biggest Demon Slayer fan in the world, but I'll give respect. It did capture a generation for a while, actually.
And it kicked everybody's asses at the box office and won an award.
Oh, I remember that when
Remember,
the
Hollywood got
train, yeah, the train
pissed.
adaptation. I wanted to see them in theaters actually, but
So,
didn't quite get to it
ladies,
in time.
ladies and gentlemen, this has been a story in that's currently developing right now. We already have, for those who have been sleeping under a rock or been tied up in the basement somewhere under Kevin Spacey's house. But Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is a animated series, a
Are
modern
we
day animated series that is coming out on Disney
like now?
Plus.
Pretty soon, like very soon, very soon.
And they gave us a first look, and then upon realization that something was not right, everybody was there. Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn, everybody was there. Okay, well, what's the issue? They they did a lot of crap that we're strongly against, and we keep telling them, if you want to make brand new characters, make your own. Don't take an established character and change them to be this.
I can hear
Now,
someone saying it right now. But you guys had the spectacular Spider-Man, and you know what? You're right.
you're
I'll
right.
go watch that instead.
We have this.
Oh, look at that! What I just said. I'll go watch that instead. But
Yeah,
what? Here's the thing: the guys making Spectacular Spider-Man, they knew what they changed, but they could not change what made the character interesting. They didn't change completely what they stood for, their core, their concept. Yes, Spider-Man back in the day was built during that time period. Yes, it's more updated, but they never said stuff like junk for modern audience. Yes, some characters did change a bit, sure, but that was still the same character we got from the comic books. They're saying the exact
so
lines that they would be saying.
ladies and
These guys
gentlemen,
don't look like their character counterparts. So we
they
got to
they
change Harry completely. We got to change Norman Osborn completely. And I thought Norman Osborn had a good actor. I'm like, yeah, I can see him as Norman Osborn. Definitely can. But why change him just to
promote a
but
message.
why? It's Norman Osborn. Like, why would you do that? Again, look at Smallville. The Executioner was in it, even though he was based off somebody called the Executioner. Still a good actor, still a good character. Look at all your adaptations across all of the platform. There will be somebody inspired by a hero or a villain or even a character that you have no idea who it is. It's like, oh, so that's who they're playing as, or if they were referenced to? Cool. Cool. We just say cool. I'll just move on.
Yeah. And as we have stated many times throughout the Knights of the Anime Table and of course Knightcast in our own respected channels, anybody will tell you, look, We have nothing against the black people. We have nothing against Hispanics. None of that. We have
I'm Hispanic.
nothing against these people. We have nothing
No, we
against them.
don't.
We love these people. We do. We love the culture and everything. We love it. But when you go and do this, you're not only disrespecting us, you're disrespecting your own race. And there's a lot of people right now who are not particularly too happy about this. And when it's coming from them, you know you fucked up. Because in the original Spider-Man, I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. She looks beautiful and everything. Don't get
She
me wrong.
looks fine, actually.
She
I
looks
thought it was like a brand new
beautiful and
character that would be like
yeah,
could be
uh,
like kind of like the driving force for Dr. Connors to create the symbiote. I mean, to
it
create the lizard serum. I mean, look at that! I just made a better plot line. Like
exactly.
perhaps this
We
could
could
be
come up with better
the reason
plot
why
lines
he's
and it would
motivated.
still work.
It would still work.
It would still work. It still ties into Doc Connors. It still ties into it, but but Doc Connors is himself. Is himself.
I mean, this could
Her
have
on
been
the other
his
hand,
assistant or something. I would be like, okay, that's cool. I mean, look at the Batman adaptation. They're not in the Bruce Manor. They're in a different apartment. You know, we have different police force that do get introduced to. We have officers around. And to be fair, for the Batman comic books, he's always talking to different detectives. That's not just Gordon. I mean, hell, even for the Batman, look at the actor who played Jim Gordon. He's a great actor, a fantastic actor, and no one was complaining. No one complained one bit. Why?
or
We just let the actor act, and we're like, yeah, that's Gordon. If Gordon was acting with the year two Batman, perfect.
or or um or Duncan Clark's Kingpin from the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie.
Again, completely.
No one bitched about
Again,
it.
well, here's the
No
thing.
one bit.
Even our good friend, of the channel would say that at that time to find somebody at that height, at that range, who came down from that escalator wearing the exact outfit that Kingpin would wear, Duncan Clark nailed it. Yes, he's a different race, but we said we don't care. That's Kingpin right there. That is the character.
But watch these fucking cuts like but you say that
Nope,
now,
Duncan Clark was awesome.
but
I wish he still was awesome.
you're complaining about this. It's
When it's
these
done
people you
right, we
cannot
won't complain one damn bit about it. We'll just say, I can't wait to see them in the sequel, or I can't wait if they do more. Again, look
because
at
remember
Sydney Sweeney,
we
how much a nerd she
criticize
was.
yeah
Coming down, she came down the way as Julia would. She had the walk down. They built the costume correctly. I was like, that is Julia Spider Woman. That is amazing.
mm-hmm. And because you see, ladies and gentlemen, we give our fair share of criticism here, but we do give our praises when it's done right. We give the praise when it's done correctly. We don't mind. Just do the part and that's it. That's all we ask. Here, however, this is a very blatant. It's very blatant because it's taking somebody of a stature of Dr. Connors or Doc Connors, a respected scientist, a respected one, up there with Dr. Otto Octavius and everybody else in
But you
between.
guys didn't. Someone's gonna say, but you didn't have a problem with the Spider Verse movie. It's a Spider Verse movie, and that was a clearly an alternate version of Doctor Octavius. But the same thing, they're calling them Doctor Connors. This isn't Doctor Connors correctly.
Yeah,
Sure, it's a different take, but it's like, really, this is your take for Doctor Connors? I mean, couldn't I just have Doctor Connors and the Doctor Octopus in Miles movie was completely different and it felt a little bit fresh. She could be in the comic books. I could be wrong. I should go read the comic books, but at least it was a different take that felt new and interesting. That actor Octavius was more geeky, was more nerdy than
Now,
Peter Parker's
now,
Dr. Octavius.
here's where it clashes because okay, so as shared by Neurotic, Curtis Kurt Connors is now a black female. Neurotic wrote Disney Marvel's Dr. Connors, aka the Lizard from Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, is a black woman. So she says, "Hi Peter, I'm Carla Connors, currently work with Oscorp Energy Research Division." Now here here's where I draw another good backstory for this for Carla. She could be uh Kurt Osborne's daughter. That would work.
I think
It
that
could
would fit
work.
a little bit better. It would be a
I'm the
different
daughter.
Connors who's not completely Kurt Connors from the comic books. It's a different take. Could be
If she
you could
was
say the
like
House of Usher situation where the dad was planted the seed around a bit. So
now if here's the thing. This is perfectly fine. This right here, this introduction is perfectly fine. Like, okay,
changes the character completely different. I mean, now that I'm looking at it, it looks like a new character.
it does. If you just give her back her other arm, I would not. We wouldn't be bitching about this. We would not be bitching. We would be fine with it if Connors had a daughter or niece. Fine, I
Fine.
believe it. I believe it, and I would praise it. I would praise it. Be like, great, a brand new character. No qualms with me. I'm not upset. I'm not bitching. I'm not a raging neckbeard person. I'd be fine with it. I wouldn't give a damn. But here is where it kills, because this right here is where it kills it for me. This right
And
here
that's when
kills it.
Connor injects the needle.
Yes, this is where it kills it for me for this character. The gender swap and the race swap is very blatant, ladies and gentlemen. No matter how hard you try to spin this, it's still it's still a blatant race and gender swap. It's blatant and very insulting. And look, we tried with these people. We have tried to give them the benefit of a doubt, but they keep coming out. It's like, oh, it's not going to be woke. There's no race or anything. Then why is Norman Osborn a black man? The fuck? Or or take it to this egregious extreme. Egregious, I tell you.
Carla Connors sounds like a nice name, and then it's like
Uh, But
Connor.
this right here, though, this completely. You have the introduction perfectly. Fine, I believe it.
And I
But
do see her badge, employee badge on her, so I'm like, okay, so this could be working. Someone with Oscorp.
if you would, if it was just her with that name, with both arms, relation to Connors, we wouldn't care. We would praise it. Be like, finally, a brand new character we can actually enjoy. That's all we ask of you people. If you want to create new characters, make them interesting. Get our attention. This is not the way to go. We have stated this so many fucking times to the point in which it's like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? We're past this point. I'm Joker. I'm tagging you into this because I'm losing it. I'm losing
It's
it right.
well, if you keep scrolling down for a bit, it's just that. So it is going to be Connors. So sadly, uh, the problem was this is that we had our huge argument and everything, but people keep saying that, well, we need to represent people. Again, if you want to represent my people, there was a time back in the day that even when we had like the old school animation shows coming out or like comic books, they were creating characters that weren't,
Yeah.
say, popular, recognized, but people didn't care about that. If you just write a good character with a good story, people aren't going to care about anything else about them. They can question a few things here or there, but like, wait, they said what or they did to what? But that's part of good writing. If the writing was good for the show, I would say I wouldn't mind Carla Connors at all. Like if you said that, oh, my father, Kirk Connors, like really? He's your father? Like yes. Or my uncle is Kirk Connors. But it's
That and,
but
and, and
Ron
and
is
that
definitely
right
the
there would
fiftieth
have been perfect.
character,
It
sadly.
it would have been perfect. It would have been like, okay, we have a brand new character that we never heard of. She has stated who she is, the relation, what she's doing, perfectly fine. But unfortunately, they shit the bed and gender and race
Trying to
swap
have
it.
cake and eat at the same time situation. That's the whole point we all are trying to get. They're really trying to have cake and eat it at the same time. It's like,
And this comes after Thames claimed the show was not woke.
and we're just trying to
Yeah.
backpedal a little bit, or someone speaking on his behalf. The guy whose voice is Spider-Man, I don't have beef with this guy. I never met him, never gonna meet him, but I think he is just stressing out because, to be fair, when I'm looking at the character models, there's always something off-putting about this. There's always been something that I can't put my finger on. Like, what is off-putting about the backgrounds, the setting, the models, even when it's in motion? Hell, go to the Spider-Man suit. Go to the Spider-Man suit. Is this really the best Spider-Man suit out there? I mean, I like what they're trying to go for, a more rookie design Spider-Man. Like he's
That's
still
good.
trying to figure a few things out. Like again, look at the
Which is
Homecoming
fine.
suit from the MCU. I actually like that suit for a rookie Spider-Man. His Homecoming suit, that's before he gets the upgrade from Tony Stark, is actually pretty good, honestly. I was like, damn, that is something Peter Parker would be doing, trying to figure things out. This, I'm like, okay, I like the red, I like the black. I always hate, I don't like when they do sneakers on superheroes. It just looks so bad. It's always baffling to me. Like, why?
It does.
I know that's a trend and it's never going to go away, but I just never liked this stuff. The
I mean,
wristbands or, something like on a sweater or something. You know what I mean? Those are fine. And I do like the fact this time around, he actually has, fingerless gloves. Like, I mean, look at his outfit. He has fingerless gloves. I actually like that detail, actually. Because
oh,
I was
I'm
thinking,
seeing it. Yeah, it looks
I
good.
actually like that detail. I'm like, you know what? That's actually pretty smart, actually, because how are you going to get your webs out if he's more organic or if he has to build his webs? I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty good because it actually stands out from all of our other Spider-Man designs for the males and females. I'm like, you know what? He stands out with that one thing that is small, but I'm like, I actually like the fingerless gloves
And
because it
remember,
also
it's the
bugs me
tiny
every.
details,
Because
and
you know
it's
it bugs me every time they're supposed to climb up walls. How do you climb up walls when gloves on your hands? Like, doesn't that
that
bug you?
it does. Now that you mention it, it does. Because it's like, how do you even? Because
Like,
you can
how does
only
any of them climb
have you
walls?
you know how you like grab onto a ledge with your hands, and you have like
Yes.
that grip.
Hmm.
Try doing that with gloves. Try doing that with gloves.
Oh, it is hard. It's hard.
You'll feel a difference. Trust me, you will feel a difference. I
I
don't
think
care.
the only person that you kind of got an idea what they're kind of going through is, ironically, it is both McGuire and Andrew, actually. When they start out in their origin story, one, we had to see those little tiny little fingers and everything from McGuire pop up on his hand. So, like, Oh, so that's how he climbs. And Garfield, well, it's Garfield, but it was also really funny, like how strong it actually is. Like yeah, it is actually sticking. So at least for Garfield, it made more sense why the gloves are okay. But again, how do you climb with gloves on? It never made sense to me. Like, how do you stick?
right?
So that I'll give props to the character designer. That's a cool design, actually. That's a cool detail.
Just change the goddamn shoes, please.
I mean, I'm kind of. I mean, is that
They're
supposed to be
they're
true?
they're
It's supposed to
distracting.
kind of
They're so
blinding.
distractingly. It's so sad of how distracting those shoes are. It is so sad. I want to like this, and I agree with you, Joker. I agree with you on this. I like the finger. I like the fingertipped gloves and everything with the top with the fingertips out and everything. I like that. And this is like a rookie outfit. This would be a rookie Spider-Man outfit, like in his first time, is in his first outing and everything. This I can live with because it's like, okay, we know he's starting out. He just got his powers and everything. Fine. I can forgive that.
Well, I
I
can
I,
forgive it too.
I can forgive that to a good degree. But for the love of Christ, what is with the what's with the sneaker trend here? I'm seeing it everywhere to the point it's just it's so mind numbing. Like why? um, but
Like
it's just
Bacon
so
was like, I don't know what the
sad.
context. Like again, we're just going to wait and see until the show's out, until there's more clips, because I'm not trusting that it's 100% fresh or it's got an 80% rating. You know, Spectacular Spider-Man was a great show. Honestly, it was a great show. I wish it came back. I wish it never got canceled.
Yes, and then uh
And some more drama on the gaming side. Ugh. Who do you want to start with? Because they're both kind of crap.
it's full of crap. It's amazing. We have a lot to cover on this. So where do you want to start? Because
Who is the lesser of the two craps?
we got well, we have two political ones. We have two political. We have Activision Blizzard CEO Rob Kostich informs employees it remains committed to DEI policies despite President Trump's thing with the whole DEI getting rid of all that.
Hmm.
The other one is former World of Warcraft team lead calls for boycott against Call of Duty after CEO defies Trump and doubles down on DEI. So we have
Well,
two different
well,
companies. We have two different companies, Call of Duty and
well,
Activision
technically,
Blizzard.
Blizzard is still owned by Activision, and Activision is owned by Microsoft, so it's Active Blizzard or Active Blizzard Microsoft, and they kind of both go hand in hand to each other. So you see one side of the coin and you see the other one, and then you have the Ubisoft stuff, which is great,
Oh,
and then
that's gonna be
Bioware.
that's gonna be fun
I say
to
we
get.
start with Activision Blizzard because I think that's the easiest to cover, and we can go through that very quickly, and then talk about all the layoffs that's happening again.
Uh, and you know us by now, ladies and gentlemen. We don't like covering layoffs, but it's the grim reality of the gaming world and
It's not just
animation
gaming; it's
everywhere.
entertainment, and it's just jobs in general. You can have a normal 9 to 5, and when layoffs happen, it's not very good. Not very good.
Alrighty, so here we go.
So
What do we got this time? Who's bitching this time? Activision Blizzard CEO Rob Kostich informs employees it remains committed to DEI policies despite President Donald Trump's executive orders. In a leaked message to his staff, Activision Blizzard CEO Rob Kostich informed employees the company remains committed despite the executive order from President Donald Trump. As shared to X by by former World of Warcraft team lead Grums, Kostic told employees, given the headlines around diversity, equality, and inclusion programs in the workplace, it's no surprise that questions have come up about what the future looks like at Activision and whether our focus and priorities around DEI shift. Yes, it is.
It is shifting.
To be clear, this work continues to be extremely important in everything we do. No, it doesn't. It doesn't need to be important.
What does this add to the company? What value does it have? I mean, the problem with DEI is called, diversity, equity, and inclusive. But so you want to help promote other people, but not someone who has the proper skills and training necessary. Again, look what happened to Ubisoft right now, which will this will tie into that later. But it's like, so again, I'd rather take someone who has proper skills, proper training, versus someone who's like, well, you should just hire me because no. When you start focusing on skin tone, you're missing the whole point, or whatever else they, all the labels and everything, which I really hate and keep talking about it. But it's like this stuff doesn't really sell you confidence. Like, why should I go with a company that's promoting DEI versus someone's like, can you work the job? If not, we can find someone to train you properly so you can have the skills acquired in the future. I'm like, yeah, sure.
It, and this right here is how out of touch these CEOs are. It's important to our games, our culture, and who we are as a company.
No, it does not. And again,
Oh,
Asmongold
ass
said this.
backwards you have to be.
You got to remember, Asmongold said the smartest thing about the whole Marvel Spider-Man 2 controversy, where you heard gender-neutral language for the Spanish language when that Spanish streamer was it Rubio or Rubius? I think it was Rumio was live streaming the game on Twitch. Heard Spanish gender-neutral language in the Spanish language that he was playing in, and he apologized for behalf of Americans, everything. But people say, but they had to do it. No, they did not. Because why? These companies do not care for you. They do not care for you. When they're making the product, they say, "Oh, we're diverse and inclusive." That should be a red flag to say they didn't care about it. Because they were caring about it, they would get the language correct. They would actually be working with people like, so how do you say this so we can get this right? What's the actual term that we can use instead of using a gender neutral language? But people say, yes, they did. Saudi Arabia, for that game over there for Spider-Man 2, there's no gay flags. There's no side quests or anything about like the LGBTQ stuff in that game over there. So it's like, they had to change the language. No, they didn't. They made a choice. They made a choice to ship that game over there. They made a choice to put gender Spanish neutral language in the game. But then you look at Final Fantasy 16. They didn't ship the game over there. Why? They just said, we trust our product, we trust the gamers to buy it, and we believe in our team on making a good product. There was a gay character in Final Fantasy 16. There was a gay character in Final Fantasy 16. And then what we said to that character, this character's cool. Why? Had a good backstory, had a great voice actors in English and Japanese, and probably all of the other languages. He was promoted correctly. He had a great story that you could connect to, and was your ally through the halfway through the game point, and was fighting alongside you at the end of the game. This guy was awesome. Has a lot of fan art. That should say a lot, actually, and it's very supportive for the community. That's amazing. That's how it's done, people. And
Yeah.
yet, is there any fan art with Miles and his girlfriend? No offense for those who do like his girlfriend.
I haven't seen any.
I don't know. There probably is out there, and those who are making those fan art, good for you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because at the end of the day, like, shouldn't that be a good thing about your game? People making fan art, people making cosplays, videos, analysis. But when you focus on the DEI crap, and that's pushed even further and further, people are just going to say, I don't care. I want escapism. You want cool stuff again. Like,
Exactly.
if I had a
Like
bad day at work and I say, like, I need to play a game right now, I need to not focus on work, that's what I would be doing. I would be
I
playing.
had a bad day yesterday. I had a
Oh,
bad day
boy.
yesterday, and I played Fallen. And I played Jedi Survivor last night. I had so much fun annihilating the stormtroopers and everything. I had so much fun and delve into the story a bit further. I
Now, which
felt
planet are you
better.
at right now?
I'm back at Jeddah right now. I'm at Jeddah. I'm
Did
back
you,
again.
let's see here. Do you have the Darth Maul lightsaber now, or do you have the Kylo Ren lightsaber?
I have the cross guard
So you
lightsaber
have the
right now.
crossguard. Okay.
I did make it. I almost made Mace Windu's lightsaber. I almost
Oh,
made it.
sick. That's sweet.
I'm like, yeah. I like as close as you can get it. Um, that aside, I had so much fun last night, and my night ended much better because I got to interact with all of our friends and everything
Oh, that's
throughout
great.
that too.
Great.
And that's what we're trying to push here. That's what escapism is, guys. Having fun, forgetting what made the what why we had the bad day, forgetting why we had a great time and everything. That's what it's all about at the end of it all. Also, Big Angry Phil, I love you, man. I love you very much as a friend, but they don't have the balls to do that. They don't, because remember, Crash Bandicoot community is bigger than it looks. There would be a lot of angry people. A lot. Myself included. I would the Twitter timelines would explode if I found out. Oh boy. Like, oh crap, Anime Night's pissed. So anyway, let's get back to our delusional CEO here. Our inclusive growth team has made great strides in helping us weave inclusivity in all aspects of business. Our strategy here remains focused on enhancing the experiences of all employees, providing exceptional experiences to players globally, and providing accessible opportunities to those interacting with our company and brand. He concluded, I look forward to all the great work will continue to do together.
Is that why Overwatch 2 is failing?
Is that why Concord is a $400 million loss? We will
That's
not
Sony.
let that go. We will not let that go.
That is
Well,
Sony.
I know I had to throw it in there. I'm sorry, but I am not letting it. That is forever gonna be a stain. Just to remind these people, like what? Oh, actually, I'll do you one better. Why is um Dragon Age?
That will be Bioware soon. That will be Bioware soon. That we'll talk about. But
Yes.
just hearing what the CEO is saying, I'm going like, so what about all those employees you laid off who might be DI as well? What about those paychecks that the paycheck that Bobby Kodak is still getting from Microsoft?
Oh,
I don't know why
I
Bobby Kodak
hate
is getting that much amount of money. It's
he,
ridiculous. Why did Bobby fire all those employees saying that I'm going to protect these employees during the lockdowns when he said, nope, I like money, get out of here. I'm not paying you, get out of here. And I'll make sure that the guy in charge of our, when somebody was in charge of the mobile, got promoted and then got more of a bigger paycheck.
mm, truth be
Like, what
told,
happened to all those employees? You don't seem to be inclusive when you want to fire employees. You're not
or
protecting.
that one
You're
joke,
firing them.
or that one developer that whose story I read a while back on Knightcast in one of the episodes. He was a legit developer who got laid off, and you could tell he had
Oh yes, he went 3 months without paid because he dared to question a few things. You know, want a raise. They laughed at him. They despised him. He worked all this overtime without any pay at all, and said, "This is not worth it." but he was a legitimate developer. People, this is sad. This is heartbreaking. And you start to wonder why people say ranking in AAA is not worth it. But people are going to say, but Square makes my favorite games, but Capcom, you know, everybody from the West and East. It's actually, for some of them, they might still be the good dogs out there.
Yeah.
But even the good ones cast a dark shadow that's looming over them. That's why we keep saying this industry is long overdue for a hard reality check. It needs to crash. It needs to crash. It needs to figuratively burn to the ground. Make them realize all this time chasing all these trends into a demographic that's not even buying your games. Oh, you can say we're diverse and inclusive, and yet how many of those people are buying those games?
Yeah.
That
How
you are
many?
so
How,
opposed to marketing. Again, remember, even during LGBTQ month, look at all the companies change their flags and everything. No offense to those who do actually celebrate that month correctly. They will change all their logos and everything to that flag. And yet, when they look at the eastern side, they might not do it if they have a division over there.
exactly. And it's just the hypocrisy of everything. And by the way, Bobby Kotick needs to be thrown in prison for what he did. I cannot believe he is still walking and getting money. That's bad ethics, both on moral and humanitarian, right there. Both. But I digress. This statement comes after President Donald Trump issued an executive order titled Ending Illegal Discrimination and Restoring Merit Based Opportunity, which we desperately need. Merit based on your ability, what you bring to the table, how can you improve, everything. Not because of what you look like. No. We're those that's done. When he observed the critical and influential institutions of American society, including the federal government, major corporations, financial institutions, the medical industry, definitely the medical industry. On top of that, large commercial airlines, thank you, law enforcement agencies. Oh, good God, we need to clean up in that. And institutions of higher education have adopted and actively used dangerous, demeaning, and immoral race and sex based preferences under the guise of so called diversity, equity, and inclusion, or diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility that can violate the civil rights laws of the nation. This right here is key, ladies and gentlemen. This undermines the whole thing. DEI undermines your civil rights. It does. And they won't do nothing. They just laugh at you. Like we stand up and everything, but they just laugh at us. It just goes to show that it pisses me off so badly how they do all this. They base
I
it
mean,
off of
it's like
it.
the Larian CEO said, all the underling employees, they'll get fired. The CEO will stay in position. It doesn't matter. As long as they make money, as long the game comes out and shipped, it pleases some of the higher ups, some of the shareholders, they won't care. Which brings us to what the World of Warcraft debt calls out for, because this is so true. Because here's the other side of that story to what this guy said.
Oh, by the way,
Really?
they yep.
Like,
in a Crash Bandicoot game. Normally, I'm not against. Well, but here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Brand new character hasn't been any in any other Crash media. Hasn't been in any other. Brand new character, completely fine. I like Cat Bat, but this right here kind of kills it for me. It kind of kills it because it's like, oh, we're just gonna base it off of that. No, thank you. Anyway, so let me get to the next part of the news. Where do you want to go next?
Let's talk about the Warcraft developer because he is absolutely right.
Okay. So for a World of Warcraft, well, we already know who he is. We'll just say
Drums,
Grums calls for boycott against Call of Duty after CEO defies Trump and doubles down on DEI.
of course, it's Grums. Of course. Now we know what his stance is.
Yep. Oh wait, it's this. Oh wait, it's the same article.
Oh, same
Same
article.
guy. Same guy. Yeah.
We pretty much said what we had to about this. But Grums, no, you can like him, you can hate him. I'm still mixed about him because there are things that he does say that I like. No, I do agree on this for the most part. Others, I'm going to say like, well. But at the end of the day, I mean, he is trying to say like, hey, whatever's left in good grace of said company, it's been long gone even after Grums was terminated. The history of Blizzard is one that's very dark, actually.
Oh, do you not have cell phones?
Not even before that. It's like,
I will forever laugh at that. That is just how tone deaf.
but
It's just how tone deaf they have become.
it's not even just before that. It's also how they treat their employees, how what happened behind the scenes. I don't want to really talk about, but Grums is Grums. This guy, you can hate him, you can love him. I just want to know this is like Grums. What are we reporting on? Like, what's there to talk about? Unless it's the same few things over and over again. Which again, to be fair, some of the stuff is dying down now. Which I think people are just getting smart, just saying, nope, I'm just gonna pass. But it's like, yeah, it's true. If Trump is calling out for like, hey, this needs to stop now, then fine. But then why continue it? I mean, watch how some people will do that 180 switch completely and kind of go back to making stuff they want to make. But sales wise is going to be one thing. But anyway, let's get to good old Ubisoft because Ubisoft, oh god,
Yeah, we have two. We have two really spicy ones from
big ones.
Ubisoft.
Let's go with Ubisoft
Alrighty,
because either way, I think they're going to be done regardless. Rumor.
Ubisoft to shut down Ubisoft Quebec after Assassin's
Really?
Creed.
Quebec? Really? I thought it was the other one. I thought it was the other studio that they were that kind of helped develop alongside with Far Cry 5, Star Wars Outlaws, and a few others. But really, because I know 185 employees across the board are leaving, which is terrible. But really, Quebec might shut down after Shadows. Let's see what this article says, because I'm curious. Take it with a grain of salt.
Yes. Hang on one second. Let me flip the script a little bit. Hang on. Let me. Sometimes these sites just like to push the subscription thing. So hang on. Let
I
me.
terrible.
I hate it
But I know,
sometimes.
like for Ubisoft, they've been in hot water. So for context, yeah, this is the one I heard about. Yes, this is the one right here. Unless that
So
is Quebec.
let's see. Ubisoft closing down another studio that worked on major titles, which will affect at least 185 employees.
Now this one is true because that studio did shut down. The one that did.
Yeah, it's Eurogamer. The video game industry was hit with news of more layoffs as Ubisoft shuts down one of its support studios The Assassin's Creed developer has studios all over the world, but to cut costs, they shuttered one of their studios in the United Kingdom and downsized another. Ubisoft explained via Eurogamer. Oh, sorry, via Eurogamer. Never mind, that's the name of the publishing. The publisher latest cross cost cutting measures will impact 185 employees overall. This comes at a troubling time for Ubisoft as the company has been shedding jobs across its business since 2022. According to Eurogamer, by the end of September 2024, Ubisoft employs 18,666 people, down from 20,279 employees just 2 years ago. Further, Ubisoft had a string of disappointment
Well, we
of
know what
release
they are. Like a lot of them were not
like
that
like like
great.
like Star Wars Outlaws, which led to lower revenue than expected. What
Even
did
lower than Frontiers of Pandora. That's the sad part.
Oh yeah. What's up, DJ Ronnie G? How are you, buddy? How are you?
The crew is shutting down. Their Tom, well, what's it called? The former Tom Clancy game that got rebranded without the game. They shut down Ubisoft San Francisco. So goodbye, another Stick of Truth game. Goodbye, another South Park game from Ubisoft ever again.
Yeah.
Uh, uh,
And
you know what? They also dissolved the Prince of Persia team, which is sad actually, because when that was announced, a lot of people said that, look, despite what you think, that game is actually really, really good. And ironically, I bought my copy when they announced the shutdown or when they dissolved the team. I'm like, really? So you're telling me you had a really good Prince of Persia team and people said that, hey, this game is actually really good. You should go play it. Was even nominated at the VGAs for best accessibilities, which I would agree. Okay, Prince of Persia game with good accessibility features for those who can't quite play a game like I can or have a little bit of disability. So I'm like, damn, you disbanded the team yet are invited for the VGAs. That does say a lot.
it does. It does actually.
And even like on the PS5 main menu screen, I can hear a little bit of the soundtrack, and I'm like, my goodness, this guy have one of the best tracks in the game. I'm like, it sounds good, but Ubisoft for over the years have been failing to keep up with the times. Have been struggling just to even get some of their big games out the door. Like even like Far Cry 6, I think that still sold well because it's still Far Cry. But then again, it's Far Cry. It's going to sell in names only. Assassin's Creed, well, we've been on the downhill since for a very long time. We're on the second reboot now, and then it's like, well, Mirage just had to be good, and it was good. It was passable. And the big one is Shadows, which we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, they've been not been doing good well. Like even the last shareholder calls or investment meeting, they lost billions, not millions, billion
Billion.
billion
With a
dollars
capital B.
with the capital Billion dollars. And last year wasn't even that great either as well. They lost even more money. Hence why they're delaying a bunch of stuff. Hence why they're not taking risk. Hence why you hear the other rumor is they're going to remaster Black Flag, which, all right, that will
We
sell
touched
well.
on that one. We touched on that because it's like, okay,
I
do
mean,
it.
remaster the best game considered by fans to be the best game. If there even some better story content, I'll take that. But shouldn't the first game get a remaster first? Because that game is old, very old, and I think a proper remaster would work very well. But then you don't need to do two because I already have the Ezio collection, a very good collection to have all three games on. And I know the third game in Rogue already got their remastered versions, which are pretty good actually. But if you're a Ubisoft investor, you just spent a lot of time and money on Skull and Bones, and it's dead on arrival. No one cares. Even if Fatal does have the game, it's like, it's good, good. It's dead. It's gone. It's dead. Like no one
Mm,
is playing Skull and Bones. It's dead in the waters. So this does not surprise anybody.
I haven't even played that game. I
I didn't
haven't
even
even.
touch it. I kept looking back at all the E3 stuff for Skull and Bones. I'm like, you know, a
What could have
simple
been?
PvE pirate game could have been a huge system seller. It could have been a seller.
Good one.
Could have been. It could have been like War Thunder.
Yeah.
But no, they kept changing it, and they even admitted some of the devs admitted saying that no one knew what they were doing. They had too many different directors coming in, changing the idea. Allegedly, the Singapore government was giving them some funding. So I'm like, oh god, no wonder why they gave it out the door. Hence the quadruple A of gaming, folks. Quadruple A of gameplay, folks. Quadruple A. So this of them shutting down studios surprises no one because we know what's going to happen. They either want to be buy out by a company and keep the Gilmont family in charge for a bit longer, or they're going to shut down. So this does not surprise me one bit. We don't have to read the article because, yeah, it's been not been doing so well with Ubisoft. They shut down a couple mobile games that had the Tom Clancy name on it. So there goes all that time, money investment for nothing. And their flagship franchises, they're not selling
Oh,
as much as they used to be. A lot of it is the outdated formula of a giant, massive Ubisoft open world where things to do, and then it's like blah blah blah. You know, I think the more important thing I should worry about is a good story and some good gameplay. Like I remember when Division 2 launched, it had the stupid color coded weapon system. I hate that.
that was disgusting.
It
I'm
took a
like,
patch update to remove all that stuff and be like, now this is a proper Ghost Recon with actual guns that I want to use. And then all the other stuff wasn't all that great, really. The story was lacking, even with the great actor who was the Punisher in Daredevil, which I love that he came back again. But come on, do better. So this doesn't surprise me that they're shutting down studios. It's them saving money. It's them like, well, we can't afford to save everybody, so shut this one down. You're out of here. Goodbye.
yeah, that's 185 people without a job.
And the rumor for the other one is Quebec. Because let's. Did you find the Quebec one yet?
I'm looking because it's a
And
hard
if you
one.
can't find it, I'll even say this: Quebec is their main developer, who developed Syndicate and then Odyssey and then Shadows. So they already dived into Assassin's Creed before with Syndicate and
Oh, here we go.
Odyssey.
I found it. Here
Okay,
we go.
all right,
Let's see.
get it.
English.
Hey there, DJ. Thanks for coming.
Uh, darn it! I hate it when it's said. So it looks like it is. Let's see. Ubisoft has laid off 84 people in Oh, hey, let me pull it up real quick. Let me. This is why I could get out of Google. I mean, you get what you get in this. So apparently, Ubisoft has laid off 84 people in Quebec. Oh wait,
Lambert.
oh here, fucking finally, Jesus Christ! I hate Ubisoft sometimes. I hate them. It's just like get the back straight. Okay, Ubisoft lays off 84 Quebec workers. Video game developer Ubisoft has laid off 84 people in Quebec. Oh wait, this is old news. What the fuck? Man,
Well,
what?
they're meant to
Man,
be shutting down Quebec after Shadows.
yeah.
If they're meant to be shutting down Quebec after Shadows, One, I highly doubt that. So that's old news.
Yeah.
But the thing is about Shadows, all that delay, all that time is an additional, according to the rumors from the insiders, there it was an additional $20 million. 20 million does not come from nowhere. They have to get it from somewhere. And just to fix Shadows, fix the bugs, to make it presentable. Because if that game came out in November, it would have been another Unity situation.
Mm-hmm.
So you delay
So,
the game, but now they're hiding Yusuke. Did you notice that they're trying to hide Yusuke now?
oh,
Yes.
I noticed that. Um, Ubisoft closed its studio in Leamington, England on Monday after purchasing the company in 2017 from Activision. As part of Ubisoft, the Leamington studio was known for its work as a support studio for Tom Clancy's The Division series, Far Cry 5, Skull and Bones, and Star Wars Outlaws. In particular, Outlaws was the most recent disappointment for Ubisoft as it significantly underperformed sales expectations
But it's Star Wars. It should sell. Have you not
in
been paying
European
attention to the
market
news with Star Wars?
in European markets last year, the game sold fewer copies than Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
That
How
is sad.
embarrassing!
That's embarrassing. But then
EA's
again, Jedi Survivors have been.
EA's Star Wars game Jedi Survivor outperformed
And
Outlaws.
to be fair, with Outlaws, it's Respawn. Respawn had a good track record. No one came out and said anything dumb and stupid. And not to mention, the big reveal was at the VGA Awards with Cam coming out with his lightsaber at the end of the trailer. And it's like, yes, yes, this looks awesome. This looks amazing. I know it's a 150 gigabyte game, but god damn, that game is awesome.
And here's the get this, Joker. Get this.
I know targeting and restructuring. No, it's not. It's
No,
But then
we
again, at the same time, another rumor that I've heard is that after Shadow comes out, they might go under a restructure again. But then again, Shadows. It's my whole problem with Shadows. We're finally getting the setting that we are getting after all these years. A highly requested and demand by the fans. Assassin's Creed in Japan. And yet, every single time I see something from Shadows, it just feels so off putting. They can't get the seasons right, they can't get the culture right. They're stealing from Japanese anime. They stole from One Piece. How do you screw this up? How do you screw this up?
yeah, look at this. In here we go. Let's get into it right now because we're done with the layoffs and everything. We got pretty
Like,
much
look
we
at this. So you tell me the guy we've been seeing, who is not a samurai, who only was a
proven not to
sword
be a
bearer,
samurai, backed up by a lot of people who know their history, who do know their history.
allegedly, called us racist, saying that there were black samurai. There's only been a known few gaijins in the history of the universe, in the history of Japan's culture. They have only allowed a few gaijins to come the rank of samurai. And it's only a few, not all, only a few gaijins were able to get that rank. You know how insulting that is? Just to have people say that, oh no, he was one of them. Like, are you sure he's one of them? And when people from Japan who are on social media, who are coming out to defend their country, to defend their history, actual historians saying, no, he was not a samurai. You are taking our history, you are erasing it, fixing it for your own liking. That should say something to you.
Mm-hmm. And, and
That should
and
say
look,
something.
And look, ladies and gentlemen, me, Joker, and a whole bunch of other people, we wanted an Assassin's Creed game set in Japan.
For decades. For
For yeah,
decades.
and it's like they had the perfect opportunity. This was the perfect opportunity right here when Shadows was coming out. It's like, okay,
Yeah, just that
it's
trailer. I see the red backdrop. I see the Japanese, you know, architecture. I see a shinobi with the rope dart and the hidden blade. I was like, yes, finally, after all these years,
I
the
hopped out
dude
of
at
my
the
chair.
15-year
I
old.
hopped out of my chair in excitement for it. I hopped out of my chair. I'm like, finally, our prayers have been
I
answered.
don't care if it was like a female assassin. I'm like, go for it. This will be great for
Do
them,
it.
actually.
Do it.
Like finally, I see the rope dart, I see the hidden blade. I'm like, man, that rope dart's been a staple since Assassin's Creed 3. That's such a cool weapon. I can't wait to see what we're gonna do in this game. And again, as always, I'm like, man, do we have gameplay footage? This will be a great opportunity. Okay, no gameplay footage. That's fine. I could care less. But it's like, but then all this stuff came out, like the rumor that Yasuke would be in it. Yasuke would be in it? Isn't he just may or may not be a samurai? I'm like, okay. But then all the stuff happened. And then it's like, oh, so we have two people as the protagonist again? I mean, that's fine and everything, but I thought the anime said, literally to them, you can only visit the memories of the ancestors. So are we playing as the female character or Yasuke? Which is it then? Like, which is it then? Because if it's Yasuke, then like, how are we the ancestor to Yasuke? Like, who did he? Like, seriously? No, no, seriously. That's the legitimate question. Because now you have to like recall back what they said so many years ago, and what slightly has changed for like the visiting the memories of the ancestors. So if she's supposed to have like all, like whatever it is called, eagle, whatever it is, or eagle vision, eagle sense, whatever, then how is Yasuke possible? The Fry twins have made more sense because, well, they were twins. And they were both dual protagonists. Sure, have Yasuke as a dual protagonist? Okay, fine. But apparently the rumor has been this. He was supposed to be the main one in a Japanese setting. The foreigner in the Japanese setting.
Hmm.
Wow. And it's not, folks, it's not like we've been racist beforehand. But someone, this is where I'm going to disagree with someone saying that you didn't have a problem with Odyssey with Cassandra or Alexio not being assassins. Yeah, I know they're basically demigods, and yes, Cassandra is the main canon assassin, but she was fine. She felt believable in that time period. You didn't have a problem with Bayek. I get it. His wife started the whole hidden ones and everything, and it took a DLC for Bayek to, kind of get him out of his slumps and finally take control of the hidden ones. But both of them felt believable. I didn't have a problem with Eivor because Eivor was a Viking. They're going to fight in front instead of hiding in the shadows. They gave Eivor the opportunity to join the hidden ones, but Eivor declined and still kept the bracer, or I should say the hidden blade, as a token, as a gift. And even at the end of that game, we were still with the Vikings. We didn't join the hidden ones at all. We just did kind of what we were told to do by Basim and a few others, but that's about it. And even the end of Eivor's life, she actually decided to finally learn more about Odin and a few others. And then she somehow passed away in the colonies. But notice how all of them I keep saying the key word. believable. That's what Assassin's Creed did well, even during the golden era of Altair, Ezio, and the Kenway family of Connor, Hathan, Edward. All of those ancestors, even what's her name? What's her name? Aloe, our liberation female assassin, the first female assassin we ever got.
Oh,
All of them
I
felt.
loved her. I
I wish she
loved
got
her.
another game with Connor. I wish both her and Connor had another game actually, because there's such a missed opportunity for them to do stuff again. Like even Shay Cormac, all of them felt believable. Yasuke doesn't quite feel believable. Like, really, we're gonna have the Black Samurai go around assassinating, kill people for Japan. Isn't that racist? Isn't that just wrong? Like, he was a slave who was captured, sold off because, Nobuyagu wanted him, kind of like a prize and everything. But according to the history, I guess not even Nobuyagu gave his. Again, I could be wrong. Historians, let me know if I'm wrong. Did even allow his own family, you know, give him the sword for the execution. So I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. That's kind of fascinating. That's interesting to know. But so he's just that, a sword bearer. Then he just carried the sword. So then why are we playing as him all the time? And apparently the female lead was supposed to have a reduced role, but all those delays, the money being invested in, now we're hiding Yasuke. Now we're making her the it was always meant to be this way. She was always meant to be the lead. Well, duh, you showed me her in the teaser. She was the first one we saw.
Hmm. So, what this all means, ladies and gentlemen? A new rumor alleges that Ubisoft delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows to reduce the role of Yasuke in the game. This rumor comes from Francisco Solbachs at that Park Place, who wrote a That Park Place source has confirmed that Ubisoft delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows in order to make narrative cuts that severely limit the role of Yasuke in the story. He reiterated, according to our source, the 20 the 20 million euro delay of Assassin's Creed. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. $20 million. that's
20 million euros.
that's not that's something not to sneeze at. That's a lot of money. Looking at it, was not merely to polish the game, but to shift focus away from Yasuke as the main protagonist. This is them further walking back on everything, and it's failing massively right now. Sobak noted that parts of the game that were cut included quests tied to his supposed rise as a samurai, as well as dialogue changes where Yasuke was previously presented as a samurai and celebrated for his renown among Japanese NPCs.
Oh, how?
Who I want to know who thought this was a great idea. I would love to meet the people in the room and ask them why. What made you come up with this idea? Because to you and I, this is an asinine idea. That's like that's like having a German soldier being honored in in France, in Paris, being honored by the French people for all the horrific crimes in World War II. Can't make this up, ladies and gentlemen. You can't. Uh, this is the thing, though. It's like, tell us you're racist without really telling us you're racist. Furthermore, he shared the cutscenes where we worked to make it feel like Now Noe has taken the lead role. Why again? I we asked the question. Why didn't you go with that in the first place? If you went with that right there, we would it would not be Assassin's Creed Shadows would not be in the mess that it is right now. You had us at the reveal trailer
At
that
the
red back
15th anniversary special, nonetheless. This was supposed to be big. Mirage, we got Baz's backstory, which I felt like that was a good backstory, actually.
Mhm.
And then we were going with to Japan, and then the future stuff was like China. I'm like in Jade, which I still feel bad China was in a mobile game. I think that would have been cool for an actual console game, or if they made that like an exclusive to PC for a while, then do the console. Fine. And then the other one was, I think it was during the witch trials over there in Europe, which was hinted at, but now we'll never know if we'll get it or not because Ubisoft is might go down under. But this just makes me mad. And I think our friend Fail said it the best thing. Even if Yasuke was in the game, they could have been like, you know that guy Yasuke? He helped me out just a little bit. Like he's with Nobuyaga. Like he could have been working with Nobuyaga, and again, make this an alternate history timeline. He could have been like the fictional take of Yasuke. Could have been like, I'm with this group called the Hidden Ones, and I should not have been captured by you. But now I believe, are the order, the agents are here. You're gonna help. I'm gonna help you. A try to find them, but I cannot be with A around Japan. You need allies. You need spies. Like they could have done stuff like that with Yasuke. Like, you could have trained Noe to be like, but you need to stay hidden. You're good, but you need to be a little bit better.
Exactly. And Joker, you would agree with me. If Naue was the main lead from the get-go, you and I would be we would be talking more positively and hyping this
I
game
think it
up.
would have been more
It
positively. Some stuff would have been still been criticized, but it would have been better received. Like, okay, now is the lead. Yasuke is just a supporting
there.
character. No big deal. No big
He's
whoop.
just there. He's just there.
I mean, you have
That would
people
have been
like,
fine.
and people are saying might say that, but haven't there been historical characters in? There have been historical characters in Assassin's Creed. Look at
Mhm.
the Ezio games, or even like Altair. Yes, they were there, but they were more like a fictionalized take to that they may or may not have been done in the past. So again, they still felt believable, but these were different takes. Even people that you were fighting with. Okay, what was that game? Oh yeah, in Revelations, yes, Prince Suleiman and a few others, they were there, but they were
Mhm.
different takes. And obviously, I guess they want to make Prince Suleiman the main antagonist, or it revealed to be the antagonist, but it was like, okay, no, that's not the real version. So they created the uncle was the main one for that one. I'm like, yeah, but it's like, all right, it's fine, it's okay. No
Or
one's gonna
like,
bat an eye.
hey, T Gap,
And again, look at Assassin's Creed 3 with the Tyranny King Washington DLC. Remember, they made Washington a villain in the DLC where they were all possessed by the apple, both him and Connor. They kind of saw an alternate future. What if, you know, the Colonial War was won, but Washington became a tyrant throughout it?
oh, the tyranny of King Washington.
That was a
Holy
good
crap.
DLC.
That
It
was
had some
dark.
misses, but that was an interesting
That
take,
was
actually.
dark. Holy
It
crap.
showed you a darker take what America could have been
What it could have
become,
been.
what could
And
have
remember,
been.
he and it was based on it was based on truth. Had George Washington taken the crown, because remember, he was legitimately offered the crown after the war, but he said no. that was a brilliant take right there, and I like it.
That was a brilliant take, and
When
like
I first
it could have
saw
been.
Ben Franklin, when I played Assassin's Creed 3 for the first time, seeing Ben Franklin for the first time, like all grandfatherly, had that charm and everything, I'm like, Grandpa, tell me stories, please. I got
He was a
giddy. I got
lad
giddy seeing
and
him.
talked a lot, and the guy who played him, like, he got the character down pretty well. But then people also going to say, but weren't you playing as well? Well, we may assassinate some figures from back in the day, but at least they made sense. They've have
Mhm.
always made sense on why they're the antagonist. Obviously, Syndicate is the black sheep of the family because, well, a lot of the ancestors have relatives that are still alive to this day, so that's why they didn't make them the villains. It was
And
all
and
new kid characters.
seeing George Washington for the first time and Samuel Adams, you feel like they
Like
were
you're there
believable.
with the characters
It
because they're
was that
interacting with
believable.
you.
And it goes back to your believability. It was believable. Like you were actually physically well, technically you were standing right next to him, but you felt it. Like you felt you were right next to them. Like, yes. And then that scene where Ben Franklin's like, then we shall hang together. Right there. It's like, I would have been that would have been love to fly on
Or
that
them
wall.
signing the Declaration of Independence,
Yes, that was
that was really quick. I'm like,
so
this is still cool that even though for our fictional character Connor, it's kind of cool that he was kind of there for it. I'm like, that's cool. Or Ezio's there with Bartolomeo. Again, Bartolomeo was a real person in Italian in Italy history, but he still was not playable. That's the big point. Why is Yasuke breaking that rule? Well, then people are
mhm.
going to say, but Jack the Ripper was playable. Okay, fair point. But at least for Jack, there's been countless depiction of him also across entertainment because we never caught the guy. They had
Yeah.
a chance to catch him, but they they kind of slipped. So again, different. So question: do you think it'd be so bad if they just had Yasuke in as a side character, like they used to? No, no, that's what we've
N
been talking about, Steve.
no, no,
If
that's what we've been
Yasuke
talking.
was just a side character, no one would bat an eye. But
No,
the
we
fact
would
they're trying to say,
and in an alternate reality, Steve, we would be praising this. Like we would be talking more positively about this and hyping the game up. Like, yes, we finally get this, but now Ubisoft's in this situation because they really shit the bed from the get-go. Continue, Joker.
yeah, but like again, like it's what we said. Like all those historical figures we come across, they were either one, some of them were antagonized, or they were just supporting characters, like helping out the allies. But they all felt believable for the characters that we were playing as. You kind of felt
The
the bickering and
gravity.
rivalry between the Fry twins. Even if Jacob ended up getting more gameplay moments than Evie, you at least felt something that, there is a sense of rivalry between the two. Evie, the way how I always dreamed how Syndicate could have gone with the Fry twins is this. Evie's more of the traditional assassin. She wants to go back to the old ways with the Brotherhood. Hence why she's in the attire more often. She wants to stay hidden in plain sight. Where Jacob is more the villain,
Wants to be
kind of
the
like
brash.
your old
Wants
brash, your Altair to your Ano. He wants to, like, yes, he's in the order, but times are changing. Hence why I liked him more in his more industrial stuff. Like he's getting with the times a bit. He's blending in a bit better than Evie. Again, and I think the idea of them like, okay, Arnold, Jacob does the main assassination. Yet what I liked about Evie's stuff that she was trying to pick up the pieces a little bit because to be fair, you never really do see the fallout of all the assassinations, which I actually like that they try to show at least a little bit, like Evie helping out the hospitals or whatever else Jacob did. I actually like that conflict. And I think what the game could have done is that Jacob should have realized that crap, my actions are having consequences. So maybe like for one or the other, maybe like for a couple of these sessions, he does it better, and maybe there's no consequences, but he's learning to be more stealthy. He's learning to be more. I need to be hidden in plain sight. I need to be discreet, not full notorious. And then Evie could have realized perhaps the old ways aren't working out as we think they are. I need to be like Jacob. Like maybe there could have been an assignment. She could have been like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. And she could have said, Jacob, I need the rooks. Rooks? You need my rooks? That could have been cool, actually. That could have been great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Jack the Ripper could be any character. And in that DLC, you kind of see a photo of the man who would become Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, you do actually. Um,
And though,
so
to be fair, that ending is still baffling to me. Like, so who was Jack in the end? Did Jacob die in the end? Or, like, no, seriously, they never resolved that plot line.
they
Unless
never
it's in the comic
did.
book. Unless it's in the comic book, then okay, it's in the comic book. But they never resolved that plot line. Like, did Jacob die in the end? Or is he still alive? Obviously, one of them has to live so we can get their daughter or niece in World War I.
Exactly. Um, he also noted, let's see, this rumor is not at all unheard of. At the end of September, after Ubisoft initially announced it was delaying the game to next month, which is going to be February, Tom Henderson at
Well, actually,
Inside.
March now.
Oh, March now, yeah, March 20th, which is
The previous delay.
mhm. Yeah, we
Eh,
know that's we covered that one, and let's just say we're not happy with
somebody
that.
must hate that this game just to make it fail.
Yes, somebody really wants this to fail, and personally, it's inevitable. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Claimed that Ubisoft was changing some of Yasuke's story and how he's portrayed in the game. He also noted that the company was fixing architectural detail and ensuring that the game is historically grounded while fitting into the Assassin's Creed universe. Furthermore, Henderson also shared that the historical experts were brought onto the project much later than usual for a project of this magnitude, and that miscommunication between teams and cutting corners when it came to the approval process of assets to meet deadlines resulted in many of the historical and cultural concerns that have been raised by us gamers. That whole thing. Because
And that
remember,
well, oh, now you're questioning. Well, here's the thing: when Odyssey was in development, they always had, like any game for Assassin's Creed, really was in development. They always had historians with them, and even several games were praised for their accuracies at the time. Like Unity was praised for getting, guess what, Notre Dame correctly. It took them a year to create Notre Dame in the game, and when historians saw it, they're like, "Yeah, this is accurate. Like this is accurate to what Notre Dame was like at that time." Odyssey came out, and some of those temples were praised for like, this is actually pretty good, actually, because some of those temples in Greece are gone. Like there's nothing left, or if there is, it's just very little.
but here
This just
though,
really baffles you because you got to remember, assets were already made for Yasuke, character animations already made, cutscenes already made. This stuff is not cheap at all. Anybody who's been
it,
in type of making any form of entertainment knows this stuff is expensive, and no wonder why they put $2 million to reduce this.
yep,
Probably gone over budget already. Probably went over budget again with 20 million dollars. So it would not surprise me if Ubisoft is just delaying the inevitable. Like, we just need to get this right out the door and hope for the best that we either one break even, two we get buy it out in the end. Because there's no way you're going to tell me that after all these failures they're going to stay open. This game cannot fail for them, but it's already done.
Two of the
The damage is done. It's too
it's
little,
two.
too late.
No matter what dialogue you take out, no matter how greatly you reduce Yasuke to a side character
Heck, we
role.
hired a voice actor for Yasuke, motion capture and everything.
Oh,
Even they
that
say,
too.
I don't know what they're going to think. I think their
Oh,
opinion will
they're
be
gonna be they're gonna be
instant.
pissed.
But they're going to
They're
be mad. Like, I recorded all my dialogue. I recorded all this. I had an emotional scene. It's
gone. Like
it's gone.
So in terms of that, all these changes that they are doing, like this is like last minute change here, last minute right here, one final unnecessary delay because, as you said, they can't let this game fail. They're doing damage control to 11.
It could be.
Yeah, that could
Could
be
be.
that. Even that won't save them. It won't.
It
It
won't.
will not save them. They
It's my favorite series thanks to my sister's boyfriend at the time. He gave me two games, Halo 2 and Assassin's Creed, when I got my 360 Elite. And Assassin's Creed has had a special place in my heart ever since then.
we have
And
three
it's
more
sad.
we have three more topics to cover. We have one more interesting one, and then we're going to end it off with two good news type
All
ones.
right, so Bioware.
Bio
Bioware,
the,
Bioware, Bioware. You know what?
the game that brought us BioShock. The game that brought us
But
BioShock
no, Mass Effect.
and Mass Effect.
No, they didn't. They didn't make Bioshock.
Oh wait.
That
Oh
was
no, I'm sorry.
that was
I'm sorry.
2K International Games.
I got the two mixed up. My
Here's what
apologies.
Bioware did. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes.
The original
How
Dragon
did we
Age
go? How did we go from there?
to Mass Effect to OG Dragon Age to the old school Boulder Gates before Larian took over. How do we go from these people who made some damn good RPG games, CRPG games, to this crap?
So
And it did not surprise me one bit that this game failed to meet sales expectation. And we even know how much they missed by 50%. Tarsh, the character that never stops giving us good quality jokes. Ladies and gentlemen, the face of EA CEO.
yeah. This is definitely the CEO right here. Definitely. BioWare confirms job cuts and structural changes after Dragon Age the Failguard's commercial failure. Oh God, what? It's the gift that keeps on giving, ladies and gentlemen. This is the gift that keeps on giving right next to Assassin's Creed, which we just talked about 10 minutes, like 5 minutes ago. BioWare announced structural changes to its company in the wake of its parent company, Electronic Arts, admitting that the recently released Dragon Age The Veilguard failed commercially. In the blog post on its website, BioWare General Manager Gary McKay, or Gary McGay, shared, now that Dragon Age The Veilguard has been released, the core team at BioWare is developing the next Mass Effect game.
That's the sad thing.
Oh
Here's the thing.
no.
They did one last patch update and they said thank you, goodbye in the Elvish language. And that should say a lot to you right there. They're not even working on DLC for you fans out there who bought it or those who supported the game, called us crazy. They didn't work on DLC. Multiple years in development, money spent on this game, resetting a couple different times. And this is the game you get. Shouldn't you get a little bit more for your money, especially with those who paid higher for a higher price?
And remember, this is why we hate the structural um pricing of these games, like the bundles and everything,
The bundles and everything.
and the
Why the price is
microtransactions.
$70 now? I should expect a full game at launch that works, that is confidently made, that has love, passions, blood, sweat, and tears into it. People that should be proud that I made this game. I feel proud.
That Croc game that I've been hyping up here and there. I'm still waiting on a release date because I am ready. I have my wallet's at the ready. I saw the gameplay of it. It looks phenomenal. It's everything that it's supposed to be. That has
I'm
me
still
excited.
waiting for the visual novel that I helped kickstart, so it is out on Steam on early access, so that's a good thing. So hopefully she gets us an update, like, and it's a single developer, so makes sense why it's taking so long.
Mhm.
But hopefully she gets a massive update soon by saying, here it is. Like, because I would love to see it come out in its full release so everybody can play it.
Hey,
But,
34, what's up?
but the thing
So,
is about this, people keep saying that, but it's Bioware. The old Bioware's gone. They're gone. All those old devs you used to like, the teams that they used to have, they're gone. Long gone. Inquisition was the last good game they ever made. And then it went downhill. Mass
mhm.
Effect Andromeda, an embarrassment to the Mass Effect franchise. No wonder. Thankfully, that legacy collection is there to have the good old days of Bioware again. Even if Mass Effect 3 is just, eh.
It's a hit. It's a
Anthem
hit and
never had a
miss.
chance.
Mhm. Never had
Sadly,
a
they didn't
chance.
get a chance. And then Dragon Age. Oh, they're going about the Dragon Age. It's going to be great. It's not going to be the same Bioware. And it wasn't the same. The characters, unlikable. Heck, they can't even be mean to each other. They're all the Disney vibe version, the goody two shoes. Like, I remember Dragon Age Origins, I could be a satirical asshole, and they would notice that. Or Inquisition, if you made the wrong choice to Lydia a couple times, she actually calls you out on it on her final quest line. She said, I did everything that you said I did. I'm like, oh, shit. And now she's like, she said, now you have this turn of heart. I'm like, oh,
Oh.
well then. Compared to the good choices you make with her, she actually might break down. God, I should play Inquisition again. That's a damn good game. But
Mhm.
this was not Mass Effect.
Nope.
You want to know why it failed? It lost the identity of Dragon Age.
And that's the sad reality right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's the sad reality of it all. They haven't made a good game in 15 years, and they lost their identity. They
Inquisition
have.
was the last good one. That's
The
the last
last
good one.
good one the last good one was from 15 years ago, and now it's like he and this is the thing. A core team at BioWare is developing the next Mass Effect game under the leadership of veterans from the original trilogy, including Mike Gamble, Preston Watamanuki, Derek Watts, Parish Lay, and others. Even these people, let's give respect here to the original devs of the original trilogy, but not even these people can save BioWare.
It's EA. They're going to mandate Frostbite, or I'll be surprised if they did go to Unreal for 5 at least. But it's not going to be the same.
In keeping with our fierce commitment to innovating during the development and delivery of Mass Effect, we have challenged ourselves to think deeply about delivering the best experience to our fans. We are taking this opportunity between full development cycles to reimagine how we work at BioWare, he committed. McKay concluded, given this stage of development, we don't require support from the full studio. We have incredible talent here at BioWare, and we have worked diligently over the past few months to match many of our colleagues with other teams at EA that had open roles that were a strong fit. This announcement comes after EA shared that Dragon Age: The Veilguard was a commercial failure and failed to meet the company's expectations by around 50%. In a press release earlier this month, EA stated Dragon Age engaged approximately 1.5 million players during the quarter, down nearly 50% from the company's expectations. Furthermore, this restructuring of the company was previously reported by the former Dragon Age The Veilguard executive producer Mark Dara, who noted that EA was relocating BioWare employees from BioWare to other studios within the company. He said last week, Mass Effect isn't ready to suddenly have a team of 250, 300 people working on it. In the past, when BioWare was toying with being just one project like on Anthem, oh my God, Anthem, oh my dear God, oh what a disaster that was. Like on the Veil Guard, that project was up and running at full speed, so it was able to suck in every available resource. It had enough existing infrastructure that it was able to absorb everything and still failed, by the way. Dara added, so that's not exactly what's happening. You see this when you go onto people's social media profiles, people who have worked on Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Some of them are moving over to Mass Effect, but some of them are moving into other parts
Great.
of the EA organization because Mass Effect isn't ready for them. Oh my goodness.
In layman's terms, the
Layman's
game
turn.
failed. The director of the game left the company, failing upwards. I see. Now there's a lot more behind the scenes because also remember it's EA. They really do not
Heck,
care
they
about products.
and that's why we haven't gotten Dead Space 4 yet. That's why we haven't gotten Dead Space
Or the
4.
Dead Space 2 remake.
Even though that the Dead Space remake did very well in sales. And that was not and to them that was not enough.
Or again, as I keep saying that I know Mr. McGee might hate me, but McGee, I think you should have instead fought to get the Alice rights back. I think that's what he should have done instead. It's great that he built a bunch of stuff, but at the same time, I think he should have fought for getting the rights back since EA is not going to do anything with those rights with Alice. I think he should have fought for the rights instead. Like, if you're not going to make me a game, if I can't make a game, can I please get the rights back? Because we'll never get Asylum. We'll never get Asylum. That's the sad thing.
Yeah, we'll never get that. So in essence, Steve, it's a little of both.
It's a little bit of both.
It's one of the many factors behind the whole thing, and also with everything that's going on right now, with all the craziness, they did too much shit with so little time and not enough people to stand up and say no. They became there's a lot of yes men around these people. There's a lot of yes men, and that's what you don't want. When you have a group of yes men, that's where the danger is. Now, as we're why we have two more to go, but there's one last big one after this one that we're gonna really dive into. So, this is the second to the last topic of the night. Rumor Bethesda to release the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remaster sometime this year.
I think this will be a good thing for Bethesda. One, it's the popular game. It would show them that there's some faith left with them. It's been a long, long time since with Oblivion for anything. I think that would be a good thing. My downside is that It's gonna run on that crappy Gamebryo engine. That's something I have to deal with constantly with them always. But this would show faith that like we're listening. You want Oblivion to be remastered? We'll do it.
Yeah. So what is going on here, ladies and gentlemen? A new rumor alleges that Bethesda and its parent company Microsoft are planning to release a remaster for the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion sometime this year. Tom Warren at The Verge reports, in recent weeks, rumors have pointed towards a remaster of The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. I first heard about this remaster last year, and at the time, Microsoft was tentatively targeting a release in late spring or early summer of 2025. So I want to say between March and July. March March or July, somewhere in there. And
August.
that
Yeah,
August too. August there.
that'll be more late summers, but never know.
Well, we're going to find out as this article continues. So hang on, hold that question for a moment, Steve. The original release back
I
in
know.
2000.
Feel old. Feel old.
Oh my God, in 2006, Jesus Christ. Wow,
Seven.
I was just starting high school at that time. Holy crap. For both PC and Xbox 360, it would get a PlayStation release 1 year later. The game was an immediate commercial success. Within a month of release, it had sold 1.7 million copies. By January 2007, Bethesda announced that the game had sold 3 million copies, and it had sold 3.5 million by November 2011. In 2015, a market research group, EEDAR, claimed that the game had sold 9.5 million copies. This game is 20 years old. It's about to be 20 years old next year. A game from 20 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, broke 1.7 million, then went to 3 million, 3.5. By 2015, it had 9.5 million. All the other games would kill for those numbers. They would kill for those. Oh, I agree. What do you think
That's
about
Gamebryo for you.
the game sees the gates to oblivion open after the death of Emperor Uriel Septim
So, in
the
short, yeah, this looks like to be the OG with probably with all the content in it. So, if they do it that way, that would be great. And apparently, there's some improvements with the stamina system and a few other things. So I'm like, okay, okay, I can see it that way.
here's some
So if
news.
the rumors
Here's
is
some
true,
news
this will
that
be a good sign.
here's a little bit more news. What that gives me hope for this too. A Game of the Year edition is currently available to purchase on Steam for $14.99 before tax, and still maintains a solid concurrent player count for a game that is over a decade old. The most recent 24-hour count saw the game hit a peak of 1,314. Its all-time peak was 6,390 back in November 2011. So it's
Before
still
Skyrim.
it's still there. Like the interest is still there. There's still an audience there. I say go for it. And to bring up T-Gap Steve's question yet again, we're hoping for a proper remaster. We're just hoping all the bells and whistles up to the latest graphics and a bit more and a bit
Oh,
more here and a bit more here and there, and some quality of life improvements as well. Oh yeah, believe me. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the grand finale of the game
all right, I'm
news.
curious what this.
Concord advocate Herman
Oh,
Hustless demoted at Sony as Hideki Nishino takes over as sole Sony
well, this is
Interactive
good.
Entertainment CEO. I've been
That's good.
sitting on this all night. I have been sitting on this
Yeah,
all
I
night.
recently saw this and good.
So what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What's going on
Sony
in
is
this
technically
scenario?
speaking going through a restructure, and this is for the best.
A dramatic restructuring at Sony Interactive Entertainment has seen the company abandon its short-lived dual CEO structure. Thank God. Thank God. That was bullshit. Removing Herman Hust from his co-CEO position, leaving Hideka Nishino as the sole leader of PlayStation. Sanity is returning, ladies and gentlemen. The change, which takes effect on April 1st, 2025, signals that Sony's attempt at shared leadership was not working as planned. Oh, could have figured that out. Oh, what a great idea! A dual CEO leadership. What could go wrong? these, these fucking people, man. So you're pushing me to drink here. You're pushing me to drink. Let's see. Devoted. Oh, I agree, Steve. Yes, I agree. Uh, well,
Yes, it took him
yeah.
a while,
Well, yeah, yeah, down and dead. That
but
was
he
an
was advocating for it. Like someone in
push.
quotes said this was the next Star Wars. I'm like,
Uh, well, we'll see. Time will tell after April. Hollis, who previously led Guerrilla Games. Oh my goodness, another company. Ugh, another company needs to get back. We need more of that. And has been a strong advocate for Sony's ill-fated push into the live service gaming. He's the reason why we're in this shit. This fucking clown is why we're in this mess. Well, Sony's mess, basically. Will now focus exclusively on PlayStation's first party studios under the title of CEO Studio Business Group. Meanwhile, Nishino, formerly overseeing hardware, accessories, and PSN, will now control all major business decisions as head of SIE.
like
Finally.
well, well, you charge the hardware, accessory, and PSN, so like at least those are some good signs to say the least, but not just
Yes,
a.
some idea of what to do, at least.
But at the end of the day, we got to see what they do first. So
In a press release, Nishino expressed
okay,
gratitude
is
for
there anything else to say? Like when anything major important in the article? Hold on. What was that middle paragraph?
that one.
Hmm. So pretty much at the end of the day, we got rid of the two people that were responsible for pushing a lot of the stuff. Again, you gotta remember we had a Japan studio, but then they pushed Sony out of Japan. Now with the USA. So my hope for the most of this is that if Sony's learning, if Sony's willing to learn, if they're gonna be axing a lot of stuff, like axe a lot of the live service stuff, we gotta get back to playing games as games, not games as a service. Like build up those Japanese branches again, build trust with the audience, get us back to single player campaigns. Again, please. Also spend the money more wisely, especially with how long development's been for a lot of these games. It's been I would like to see more stylized games. I'd like to see stuff that we used to be getting every so often,
I
instead of stuff
wholeheartedly
that took forever to get.
I wholeheartedly agree because it's so it's just so unbelievably sad that we that they exactly that's what happened. Sony is one giant conglomerate right now, and with the new and we give our praise and everything to this decision from Sony. It is a huge step in the right direction. It's a huge step in the right direction because if you have a
The
dual,
brand is kind of damaged right now, especially for those who did buy a PS5 like myself. We were expecting a lot of cool stuff like from the PS3 and the PS4, even good old PS1 and PS2. But instead, it's kind of was that long waiting game for these titles. Yes, we still got them, but people keep calling Horizon a joke, where I still believe in that franchise, saying there is potential here. They're just not
there
exploring it
is a game
correctly.
in there.
There
There's a
is a game.
game in
They
there.
have two solid good games, and a Planet Remaster. And I know people are gonna say, "Did you play Lego Horizon?" I did not because I feel like this is not what we need right now. We needed something, the next spark. If they gave me another DLC, I would have been like, "Oh, here we go. What do we got?" Renew my interest. But instead, it was a Lego game. I'm like, money was spent on a Lego game. A Lego game.
And and I go back to Steve's comment. He is right. You are right
Like we
though.
can't celebrate too. It's too soon. I'm hoping that it's a step in the right direction.
Hmm.
It is it's the irony. We need to build the brand back, build back up the trust, and hopefully trust is earned again. Like hopefully whatever these companies are going to be doing making games, hopefully it's like don't make light service, like smaller scale projects. I said back last year that if Sony is willing to admit only like smaller to medium sized games, there's a whole bunch of games in their back catalog that's like tell one of them to revitalize this or do something with them. I keep waiting for a Sly Cooper game, but somebody should have done that by now. Or Jack and Daxter. Do something with these. Yeah, what happened to Infamous and Killzone?
Hmm.
Or so many
And
good games are just buried. To, if you want a new IP, build that IP, build something new, and set that.
exactly,
Don't make it light
wait,
service.
like with Astrobot, that was a really phenomenal
That's
game.
that's why I kept saying the little robot that could, and it costs probably half the fraction of what they are spending on it. And they're like, whoa. That's why I kept saying I'm glad that was the game that won. It's the game. It was the win that gamers needed. It's what the industry needed. Bring back the 3D platformers. Bring back fun stuff. I can boot it up, get ready to play a few levels here and there, and be like, all right, I'm going to bed. Instead of going through a long cutscene, and be like, wait, what's going on? What's going on? Did I miss something?
Why is why is my controller vibrating? Why is it vibrating?
What happened? Is this the worst voice acting by Young Ye? Yes. Yes, it is. Like like I keep saying, there needs to be a balance of the cinematic adventures, the Hollywood type experience, to the fun stuff. There's got to be that right balance, and I think Sony right now they should do it. They really should do it. If not,
They
I'm
should.
sad.
It is really sad, ladies and gentlemen, because remember that fucking clown got who pushed the live service and for Concord advocate for it. He's the reason why Sony is in this mess to begin with. What and
13 live service, and a lot of them are canceled. Over half of them are canceled.
I would have I mean a Twisted Metal I would have been fine. Yeah, give me Twisted Metal. Would love to see that franchise make a huge return. We have the
I
live.
mean, I think
We
they
have that
should have seen
series
how successful it was on Amazon for season two.
that should have been like, okay, it's doing well. Let's make a game.
Again, people have said that. Look at Witcher with season one with Netflix. That was so successful. What did people do? Pop into Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. and they put Henry Cavill in as a mod. That's how you know it's successful. I know people said Arcane was successful, but how many people really played League of Legends? Hence why they're trying to branch out to a bunch of stuff like getting a fighting game or some of their other side projects. I think those are good things for Riot Games to be looking into, but it is a gamble. It is a risk. It's being sold on the League of Legends names alone, but how successful will they be? Who really knows? Who really knows? I think that's why they're really going in on a few of them, and why I think the fighting game is one I'm really going to be looking out for, because League of Legends characters in a fighting game, and it's their own fighting game. Hmm, sign me up. I could get
Mhm.
a lot of new players into a fighting game.
Mhm. And and the thing of the matter and the thing of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, after everything we have discussed here tonight, it is pretty clear that we now know who is doing what behind the scenes, despite the rumors and everything. And remember, they are rumors, but we have seen a lot of rumors come true in these last few years. So, but as we say, take it with a grain of salt, though. However, with the very, very latent damage control to Assassin's Creed Shadows, which we all know it's gonna fail one way or another. We just see it, and and they're trying very hard to minimize the damage and everything that's gonna cause, but unfortunately, it's not gonna be enough. Because remember, we have Ghosts of Yoite, I think? Um,
Yotai.
Yotai, we have that one already announced, ready to go. It's already been announced, so it's far too late for Assassin's Creed Shadows to turn the ship around. It's far too late. We're past that
I think
point.
Yotai is going to be the better game because I trust Sucker Punch. They have good writers over there. Same director. Should be a confident game. Despite what the actress is doing off, for her personal stuff, that's one thing. Separate the art from the artist. And I think she's a good fit for the character. We just got to see more. And I'm excited for that. But
Oh,
when
I agree.
I agree, like when Ghost of Tsushima came out, I felt like I got what I wanted years ago. And like at Shadows, I'm like, finally, we're doing it. But now it's like, well, I waited
And
all this time for that, for nothing.
and it comes to no surprise to anybody, me, and everybody included, that we have these layoffs and everything. And like I've stated multiple times, and it bears repeating, we don't like covering the layoffs. We don't. It's the one thing we see happening at an alarming rate. This is 2025. I mean, this is 2024 part two, ladies and gentlemen. This is part two of the 2024 layoffs, and it's gonna keep escalating to where, because all these attacks and everything that we have seen from these companies and the doubling down on the DEI initiatives, despite that executive order, which I fully back, by the way, which we need a return to sanity. We need a return to actually earning those positions and all of that based on our work ethic and everything. And that's where it should be. To where we have a brand new CEO coming in 3 months from now. In 3 months, we're going to have a brand new Sony CEO, a one person CEO, ladies and gentlemen, not the dual, because they kicked out the one dude and they kept the actual person that they needed. And whether and it's and time will tell, is he gonna step up and be like, no, we're not doing this live service crap. Look how many games we've canceled and everything. That is not a good look for this thing. It's not a good look. Or is he, or of course, being around an idiot like that other guy, has his influence affected the brand new leader? Has his influence done the damage? Was he influenced enough to carry on that garbage live service crap? We don't know. Time will tell, but I am really, really hoping that this is the opening that Sony needs to get back to prominence, to remind us gamers why it was so dominant and rivaled Nintendo back in the late 90s. That's what I'm hoping for with this move. We have Astrobot, a brand new Game of the Year winner, a return to platforming that we've seen, something that's been long missing ever since then. Sony has the perfect opportunity right now to turn all this shit around. They have the perfect opportunity right now to do it. Now we just have to sit back and wait and see. I'm not getting my hopes up, but I know for a fact we have seen stranger things happen in times like these. With that said, Activision and Blizzard, they're gonna keep putting their heads in the ground until lightning bolt strikes both their asses, and it's coming. It is coming. Um, and I agree right there. I agree right there, Steve. I agree. And with BioWare doing after the colossal failure of Dragon Age, they're restructuring and doing a new Mass Effect game with those same people. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you bringing people from a game that's failed into another major league title? Time will tell, though. But like I said, time will tell. And with the recent good news that we're getting a remaster of the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, it's another step in the right direction because that game is very well beloved. I enjoyed it. Everybody else has enjoyed it. It still has a healthy gamer retention. It has healthy game numbers. Go for it. But in all essence, ladies and gentlemen, it is a very crazy time to be alive right now, given everything that is happening in our world, both in the real world and in our entertainment world. And I really hope beyond hope, ladies and gentlemen, we get some more good news to counteract the bad because these people, the people that are still embracing DEI and everything, watch what happens in the coming months. Watch
Oh,
what they're watch the playbooks. They're gonna run the same playbook. What they're doing with what they're doing with the neighborhood Spider-Man one that we talked about an hour ago, ladies and gentlemen.
and apparently Doctor Strange already has a cameo. I'm like, why can't superheroes just have their solo Avengers? Why does everybody
What?
need to be like? It's cool. Someone's gonna say that, but isn't like, yeah, Daredevil, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and like Jessica Jones. Yeah, they're all within New York City, but the problem is let them be solo. Yes, that includes Iron Fist and Luke Cage as well, but let stuff be solo. It's cool that they're connected, but it's like, I don't need Strange within the first episode, even if it is just magic. I'm like, great, Strange. Then the first episode of this rookie Spider Man. What logic is that?
I mean, don't get us wrong. We like the suit and everything. Don't get us wrong. It's perfect for a year one Spider-Man. It's perfect. Minus the tennis shoes, of course, because good fucking. I'm not letting that go. I am not letting that
Neither
go.
am I.
I'm
It's
not
been a
letting
weird
it go.
trend. I'm like, I don't like this trend.
Mm-mm. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the attacks. Get ready. They're gonna run that same playbook. When they see those numbers go down and everything, despite the nice talk and everything, oh, it's not woke. Watch the numbers tank. The numbers are gonna go down, ladies and gentlemen. And don't get us wrong. We love new characters and everything. We love seeing our classic characters too. But this blatant race and gender swap has gotten way too out of control and it cannot be ignored. Especially with Clara Connors. Me and Joker came up with a few our own scenarios, mind you, of that character. Had she not gotten, had she had her own arm, and with the introduction was correct. The introduction was correct, but unfortunately, with the way she is presented, it is a blatant race and gender swap to a 10th degree. And unfortunately, we cannot let that slide. Now, at any other given day, if she was a relative to Dr. Connors, we would have been fine. We would have given praise. Like, hey, a brand new character. Great. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, DEI is really going to be really tough to get rid of. It's really tough to get rid of it. We're seeing it though getting moved out of things, and we're hoping for the best because we want our games back. We want the games fun again. We want them to where we could talk about hours upon hours about and have fond memories of buying about of buying our copies and everything. We want to go back to that medium, back when we could all sit down and tell our favorite stories of our experiences with the game and the characters and all of that. That's what we want as gamers. Hey, I like the sexy big titty butt jiggly girls as the next gamer, but in all seriousness, I want a good story with great character development, great gameplay that I can praise and say, "Hey, look, go play this game. I recommend it. It's really good." That is what gamers want in the end, at the end of it all. And I wish that these companies drop the fucking sales quota. If a game is sold very well, do the sequel. We would have had a Dead Space 4 right about now and a Dead Space 2 remake this year. It would have been announced this year. We would have had that announcement and we would have been fine and everything. But it's still early. We're still in the first month of 2025, and we have a long way to go till December of this year, and see what the road what's gonna happen. We're gonna see what happens 11 months from now. We're probably gonna be sitting here and reflect on 2025. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we need to keep pushing these people to remind them what made them great to begin with. Ubisoft is one. Let me put it to you like this: Ubisoft is one catastrophic failure away from going belly up. Look at the layoffs they did. Look at the studio and support studio shutdowns that they've gone through and the failures of the games and the canceled IPs. That is really bad news. Very bad news. And a game that got the shit kicked out of it for all the attacks against the Japanese culture and and us gamers included. There is no saving that game. There is bar none. That game is going to fail or break even one way or another. There is no success rate because of everything that's been marred by that game. Which is why me and Joker and everybody else say go vote with your wallet. Support a game that aligns with what you
Support a
want as
game
a
that you think that believe that like this captures my eye, this captures
and
my
why this should be in your library, why it should be there. But look, we're just gamers who want to go back to the happier times. It's up to you, the audience, on what you want to do. We're here presenting the facts and everything and our own viewpoints on these matters. We're not going to tell you what to do. We still encourage you vote with what you feel is right with your own money. That is your money to spend. Hell, you could tell our opinions are a joke and everything, and we would just be like, "Mm, okay." But that being said, your happiness should matter in the world of gaming. If you want to support a game, knock yourself out. But the truth of the matter is, truth is stranger than fiction. And believe me, I wish we had more positive news to counteract all of this. I wish we did. But unfortunately, the negative news always wins. And it's heartbreaking to see what the beloved studios that we respected all those years ago have turned out to be. And to me, Joker and everybody, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Sony? What are you doing, Bethesda? What are you doing, Ubisoft? What are you doing, EA? What is going on? And look, we provide fair criticism and praise all in the same. We criticize with reverence as much as we can. We're not dogpiling on the dumbassery of the CEOs and everything, even though they are out of touch and everything. The one statement I read earlier from that CEO who's doubled down, that is asinine behavior and should not be tolerated at all. If your CEO is talking like that, it's time to clean house big time. Otherwise, the pink slip is going to come a lot faster to you, the developer, to you, the artist, to you, the storyboard, to you, the writer in the room. That pink slip is going to come directly to your doorstep, and you're going to wonder, where did I go wrong? And unfortunately, we are seeing more of that as the days progress. It's not fun, ladies and gentlemen, and we feel for these people. We do. We may not be game developers ourselves, but we have an understanding of what goes into a game. We get it. Like we all get it and everything. But the attacks, the insults, the badgering, every toxic behavior that these people have done to us warrants no remorse from us. If they go under, so fucking be it. They made the choice, they shit the bed, they have to lie in it. And that's sad, honestly. Joker, any final words? Take it away.
Nope, you said it best, so that's about it. So I don't have to do anything.
But anyway, guys, we're we're gonna leave you with this. Given these recent developments and everything, oh, uh, yeah, yeah, make it fun first. That's what it should be. We're gonna leave you with this, ladies and gentlemen. Given all the recent developments and everything that we have reported here tonight, do you think that the gaming industry needs a massive overhaul? I mean, I know a crash is I know Joker has mentioned a crash needs to happen and everything, like a massive crash, which warranted, yes, but also it needs a big overhaul, like cosmic overhaul of all this. But above all that, ladies and gentlemen, We just hope that things go for the better in all our mediums. For Captain America, to the actor, we have no qualms with you, but what you said was really idiotic given how close your movie was to coming out. That was very idiotic of you. And I get it. You're a good actor and everything. You're a good actor. We're not denying your talents or anything. We never bring the talents into question. It's the maturity and how you conduct yourself into the public eye is what we criticize. That's what we are judging right now. We're not judging based on how you look or anything. We're basing it on your actions. And right now, they're not really good. No matter how much you walk back, the damage is done. What little hope that this movie had is going down has gone down the crapper. What's up, Furious Jan? Exactly. Yep, exactly that. Oh, absolutely, and that's a scary reality to it all. They are refusing to learn, and unfortunately, it's gonna bite them really bad. I think the fall of Ubisoft, when it really crashes, that should be a massive wake-up call, if nothing else. I've been good, my friend. I'm about to end the stream. However, we had a great time tonight. We had a lot of topics to cover. We had an overhaul of topics. Holy crap. We got through the anime news on good, both good and the bad. We got through a magneton of gaming news, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But we like to thank you, the audience, for tuning in tonight and hearing us discuss and present all the news without any bias. We are presenting this with our full honest opinion, whether it be good or bad. We do get praise here and there. We do get praise when it's done right. But it's the criticism that we levy against these people in good faith. In good faith. We're not saying go attack these people. We're not condoning that. We want transparency. We want to keep exposing these people and everything and show them, look, this is not what we want. We want you to do better. We know you can do better. Uh, ex- exactly. But we have till March, ladies and gentlemen, to see what happens. We have till March, March 20th of this year, 2 months from now. Anyway, guys, I'm Anime Night. This is my wonderful co-host and a good buddy of mine, Silent Joker. We
Thank you.
appreciate we appreciate you all being here. Furious Stan, T Gap Steve, third for the second, DJ Ronnie G, California Ford, Sunflower, Big Angry Phil, the goddamn Bacon. Thank you again for coming on by. Godzillionaire, really awesome name. MGTOW for showing up. DJ Clark, and whole bunch of you over on Twitter. Big thank you to everybody for making this possible. Tune in tomorrow night. Unfortunately, I have to get another DVD and Blu-ray player, but this time I'm gonna shop a little smarter and get something with a manual to help install the thing because I hate the fact it didn't come with this. That should have been a red flag right there. But I'm learning as I go. I'm learning as I go. So next Thursday, and luckily I get paid this Friday. Luckily I do. So I will be buying another one this Friday. So tomorrow, it's the stream is going to be Poppy's Playtime Chapter 4 for the time being until next Thursday. where hopefully we can get a brand new one of these up and running and have to read the disc correctly, and we could watch Sonic again because me and Joker missed that series. We miss watching. We
Oh yes,
miss
we do. I really do. I want to get back to Sonic, so I got an
yes.
excuse to wear the hat again.
Yes, yes. I want to see the ending of season 1. I want to see what happens. That cliffhanger was that cliffhanger has me. Um Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again and have a wonderful night.